Hey guys, Chaos Shinobi here. This is a story where Jiraiya leaves with a 5-year-old Naruto for a long training journey. How will his life be different? Watch as Naruto experience harsh obstacles before finally becoming a legend. Chapter 8. Into the Mist. It was late into the afternoon, which happened to be the busiest time for the market section of Konoha. Villagers and ninjas alike had places to go, places to be, and people to meet. Faces were usually the same since everyone knew each other in the village. Daily gossip was always a favorite pastime for people. The villagers had their sights on a particular group of 4 as they casually walked past the market area. Team 7 strolled leisurely through the marketplace as they enjoyed the scenery. Sakura was walking next to Sasuke, scaring away potential girls that she thought would have a chance with her Sasuke-kun. She was hoping that he would ask her out on a date one day. She was determined to be there when he did. Naruto was walking behind the two, at a slower pace. The villagers were throwing unwelcome looks towards him. Naruto looked on stoically as he endured the glares. He avoided unnecessary eye contact with any villagers and continued walking. Kakashi had his usual book out. Most people assume that when the copy ninja has his book out, he is oblivious towards his surroundings, leaving himself wide open. He chuckled at the misconception when several jounins confronted him about his ways. He merely told them that the book was only a distraction. Whether they brought it or not, he didn't care. He had 3 things that he considered precious to him: Ica Paradise, friends, and food. As the #1 fan of Ica Paradise, he would protect the book with his life. As they continued walking, he kept his open eye on his students as they walked through the village. The glares that Naruto received were not unnoticed by Kakashi. It must be tough for Naruto to endure this. He watched the blonde boy with growing interest. He didn't know much of the boy except that he was exceptionally strong. He wanted to have another spar with the boy soon. Naruto was casually looking around. He was feeling uneasy, as if someone besides the villagers was monitoring him. He tried to locate the source from the corners of his eyes, but it was difficult. The glares from the villagers weren't exactly helping his situation. Naruto slowed his pace down to match Kakashi's before speaking in a soft voice. "Kakashi-sensei, I have to get something from my apartment first. I'll meet you at the tower in 10 minutes. Kakashi nodded his head to let the boy go. As Naruto walked away from the group, he bumped into someone. The girl that Naruto bumped into looked to be about his age. Naruto looked at the girl with bluish color hair and mysterious white eyes and covered in a white hooded sweatshirt. "Gomen, I wasn't looking at where I was going." He offered his hand to help her up from the ground. The girl looked at him shyly, trying to keep the blush down from her cheeks. She mumbled something that Naruto couldn't decipher. He grabbed her hands and pulled her up. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. What's yours?" Naruto could have swore he seen her mouth, but there was no sound coming out. "Excuse me?" She looked down at her feet before speaking up. "And my name is Hyuga Hinata." Naruto found that name very familiar, but he couldn't remember it. "So what are you doing here, Hyuga-san?" Hinata was poking her index fingers together, trying to answer him when they heard a voice from behind them. "Hey, what do you think you're doing with Hinata?" Naruto turned his head to see a boy with red cheek marks flying towards him. Naruto merely glanced at the incoming human projectile as the boy missed his intended target. Naruto grabbed the boy from behind and threw him against the wall, firmly holding the unknown boy's arm against his back. "Kibakuin, Ano, and Naruto-san here wasn't doing anything to me. He was just talking to me." Hinata was shocked to see her teammate trying to tackle Naruto. Ow. Damn, let go, damn it. Kiba was struggling against Naruto's grip, trying to break the arm lock, but he couldn't budge against the blonde boy. "Gur ruff, Akamaru was barking at Naruto. He ignored the warnings from the dog and firmly held the boy. "What did you think you were doing by attacking me? It's against the law to attack a fellow Konoha ninja," Naruto said coldly. A soft voice spoke up. "I would appreciate it if you didn't break my student's arm, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto turned around to see Kurenai Yuhi coming out from a shop. "Kurenai-sensei." Kiba and Hinata were glad that their sensei came out when she did. Naruto finally remembered where he heard these names before. It was during the Genin team selection that he met the girl. Every time he would turn his head, he would catch the girl staring at him and blushing when he looked at her. Your student here jumped into a situation that he didn't fully understand. It would be wise for future references that he should learn some restraints before rushing head-on. Naruto answered back in a monotone voice. Kiba struggled some more. You just caught me off guard, Dobe. Even weaklings get lucky. Kurenai raised her eyebrow at Kiba's remark. She was considering the boy's advice. Maybe Kiba does need some training. Naruto frowned and applied more pressure on Kiba's arm. It would be wise that you also learn some manners. Naruto looked Kiba in the eye. Kiba saw the harsh coldness from his eyes. It wasn't the eyes of a 12-year-old child. It was something more. Kiba broke the glance from Naruto and continued to struggle. If you want to fight me, Inuzuka, prepare to fight me with your life. Naruto answered in a cold voice. Everyone felt the coldness of Naruto's voice. Enough. Let him go now, Uzumaki-san. Naruto shot Kurenai a cold glare before throwing Kiba to the floor. He nodded his head towards Kurenai. Good day to you, Yuhi-san. Naruto walked past Kiba, who was currently having Hinata tending to his arm. Naruto found Hinata looking at him as he was walking by. He looked at her. It's not polite to use your abilities to spy on someone like that, Hyuga-san. Hinata looked in surprise when Naruto unveiled her intentions. Gomen, Naruto-san. Hinata bowed her head in apology. Naruto waved it off. Don't worry about it. Kiba looked pissed. Hey, where's my apology? Don't you dare walk away from me. Naruto turned his head to see Kiba trying to get up. Be a good dog and let Hyuga-san tend to your arm. Kiba found himself blushing and stuttering against the blonde. Damn it. This isn't over. Hinata's face was turning even redder as she saw that she had her hands on Kiba's right arm. Naruto walked past Team 8, only to find Shino leaning against the wall. Thank you, Shino. The silent boy nodded his head before walking back to his team. It was by coincidence that Shino's bugs alerted Naruto ahead of time about Kiba's incoming attack. Shino's not a bad person. I'll remember this favor. Seeing as his problems were now taken care of, he dashed off towards the Hokage Tower. Kurenai turned around to talk to the boy again but was surprised when she saw the mysterious boy nowhere in sight. Hokage Tower. The Hokage Tower wasn't exactly the most admirable place. The room was a single dull color and it had only one window. Team 7 was standing outside the Hokage's door, waiting for their last teammate. Kakashi-sensei, why do we even have to wait for Naruto? Sakura whined again. Sasuke had already lost count on how many times Sakura was whining to Kakashi. Did you say something, Sakura? Kakashi answered without looking up from his book. Arg, Kakashi-sensei. Put that book away. Kakashi continued to ignore his student as she continued to whine on. Naruto made it to the Hokage Tower with time to spare. He walked up the stairs and around the corner to find his team standing there, looking bored. Yo! Naruto waved his hand, walked towards them. He looked at the secretary before waving. How do you do, Rina-san? Rina looked up from her work and smiled politely towards the young boy. I'm fine, Naruto-kun. Here to see the Hokage again? Naruto raised his hand nonchalantly. Of course. The old man needs a bit of me in his life or else it would be boring. Rina giggled towards the young boy's action. Everyone in the village showed respects towards the Hokage, and here was a boy who has no respect for authority. He was like an untamed beast, a rather cute one. She knew of his secret but cared less of it. People are going to be like that when you become Hokage as well, Naruto-kun. Naruto merely grinned. I wouldn't expect much of it. Well, I'll take my leave now, Rina-san. Can't let the old man enjoy his day. Naruto gave the secretary one last wave before walking into the Hokage's chamber. He turned around to see if the rest of his team was going to follow him or not. Are you going to come or not? Sakura frowned. The secretary said we have to wait to see the Hokage. Naruto, you can't just barge in like that. Sakura pointed it out to her no respect for authority teammate. I can and will. Just watch me. Naruto opened the doors to the room and looked for the person he wanted to see. Yo, Oijisen, I have a bone to pick with you. Naruto shouted into the room. Sakura smacked him from behind. Baka, I can't believe you just did that, and don't call the Hokage that. Sasuke smirked. How stupid can you even be, Dobe? Naruto ignored the Uchiha's comment and let out a little growl at Sakura. Do you have a death wish, you eyesore? He was rubbing his head, clearly oblivious that there were other people in the room. Naruto, what can I do for you today? Naruto turned around to see other people in the room with the Hokage. Old man, I demand something else besides these D-rank missions. Sakura smacked Naruto again. I apologize on his behalf, Hokage-sama. Sakura quickly bowed her head, not wanting to offend the Hokage. Still no respect, Gaki? Naruto recognized that voice. It belonged to someone that he could never forget. He narrowed his eyes towards the old man sitting in front of the Hokage. Ero Sennin, did you get caught peeping again? Jiraiya jumped up and smacked Naruto on the head. I thought I told you not to call me that, Gaki. He glared Naruto in the eye and the two were soon locked in a staring contest. Everyone in the room, excluding Sarutobi, was surprised by their actions. Sakura glared angrily at Naruto. Damn it, Naruto, if we get demoted, I'm going to kill you. Sasuke shot an angry look towards Naruto. Damn that dope, he just doomed us to a year of D-rank missions. At this rate, I'll never catch up to him. Kakashi paid no attention to the scene as he gave out a little giggle to show his interest in the book. Irika sighed at the boy's lack of respect. Naruto, show some respect to a legendary Sannin. Team 7 turned their heads in surprise. Sakura and Sasuke looked in disbelief. Sasuke gritted his teeth. He was the last Uchiha, why isn't he getting some sort of special training? Naruto, why is he always the one getting more training than me? I need the power to accomplish my goal. He glared at Naruto while Sakura stood there shocked. Irika walked up and smacked Naruto across the head. Naruto let out a small growl. What is this? Smack Naruto on the head day? I swear you all have a death wish. Naruto massaged the back of his head while he grumbled on for a few minutes before turning to the Hokage. Old man, I demand a better mission. Irika looked surprised at the tone the genin was speaking with towards the Hokage. Naruto, watch your mouth. Every genin has to complete a certain number of D missions. Irika explained the importance about missions and what they do for the village. Sakura was paying close attention while everyone else was off in his or her own world. What are you doing back here, Ero Sennin? Naruto poked his sensei on the arm. Jiraiya swatted Naruto's arm away. Stop that, Gaki. I'll tell you if you just give me a minute. Naruto grinned at Jiraiya. It better be good or else I'll end your peeping adventures for good. Jiraiya reached inside his vest and took out 2 letters. Here, brat. Tell them I'm not your personal slave. He handed the letters towards Naruto, who gratefully accepted them. Then I guess Araki-nichan will know what you did in her house the last time you were there. Jiraiya stepped back and paled. How did he know? I'm a dead man if she finds out. Let's not go that far, Naruto. Jiraiya put up an innocent smile on his face. Naruto looked at his letters. One from Araki-nichan and one from Hikaru-chan. Naruto had a shocked look on his face before hastily opening his letter. He quickly read the letter and reread it again for a second time. Jiraiya slowly inched over behind Naruto and peeked at the letter. Naruto had a smile on his face by the time he read it. Jiraiya noticed Naruto's smile, and he thought this would be a great opportunity to get his Baka student back. So, Arogaki, did she send you any good pictures? Naruto's face quickly turned cherry red, putting cherries to shame. He quickly put the letter away before turning to Jiraiya. Shizuka-san said that you better be keeping your promise. I wonder how I should answer that. Jiraiya started laughing insecurely as he backed away slowly. Why must the fates be so cruel towards me? Naruto didn't notice to his sensei's retreating form. I'll give you the letters so you can return it to them. Is that okay, Ero Sennin? Jiraiya nodded his head, glad that Naruto didn't push the subject matter any further. Yeah, give it to me soon. You know where to find me. Jiraiya excused himself and left the room. Naruto looked at the Hokage, who was sitting there peacefully. So, how about it, Oijisen? Make it worth my time. Sarutobi thought about this for a minute before deciding. He thought about Naruto's abilities. This would be a good time to give him a simple test. Okay, I'll give you a better mission. Irika, hand Naruto a C-rank mission. Irika was shocked. But Hokage-sama, Sarutobi shot Irika a look that caused him to back down. He handed Naruto a sheet of paper. Naruto read the paper out loud. Escort mission C-rank to Nami no Kuni. Better than babysitting that damn cat. I'll take it. The Hokage nodded his head. Tazuna, come out, your escorts are here. Team 7 looked towards the door, awaiting their client. A man who looked like he was in his late 40s walked out. These are the brats that are going to protect me? The shrimp over there would probably wet his pants when he steps outside the gates. Everyone in the room became froze. All eyes were on Naruto. He had a small, eerie grin on his face. He gave the bridge builder a small smile before turning around. Everyone in the room slowly dropped their guard. The bridge builder was still alive and Naruto made no attempt to kill him. Several thuds were heard a second later. Everyone except Naruto turned around to see what happened. Tazuna was against the wall, to be more exact. He was pinned against the wall with several kunais. Some on his arms and legs and one just barely below his family jewels. The males in the room cringed at the sight, each imaging the fear that Tazuna was probably feeling. Sakura smacked Naruto across the head for his actions. "Naruto no baka. Don't throw your weapons at our client." Naruto replied with a cold tone. "My weapons? I think those are yours, Haruno." Sakura looked skeptical until she checked her weapon pouch. She found her kunais missing. Naruto's eyes turned red for a split second before returning to normal. "When you play with fire, you will get burned." Everyone felt the temperature of the room drop. No one made a movement. None of them saw the quick actions that Naruto displayed while stealing her weapons. Tazuna took a deep breath, thinking twice now about messing with the boy. "Tazuna, rest assured. I'm a jounin, so if anything happens, I can handle it. I hope." Kakashi muttered the last part under his breath as he walked out the door casually, as if nothing happened. Naruto followed suit. The other three was wondering how the blonde pulled off that stunt. 20 minutes later, front gate. "I swear those two are always late." Sakura walked around, releasing her frustrations. Tazuna was too busy drinking sake to pay attention to the girl. He was still recovering from his earlier experience. Naruto, there was something odd yet familiar about that boy. He couldn't help but ponder on where he saw that face before. "Sakura." She turned her head towards the person calling her name. She gave Sasuke her cutest smile. "Yes, Sasuke-kun? Yes, maybe he's asking us out on a date." Sasuke looked at her, backing away slowly. "Can you please shut up?" Sakura nodded her head furiously. In her world, she heard, "Can you wait a while longer for me?" Yes, it is a weird world in Sakura's mind. Naruto arrived 1 minute before Kakashi did. He had a stoic face on as he walked past his team and leaned against a tree, looking towards Tazuna. Kakashi arrived in his usual puff of smoke, greeting his lovely team. "Sorry, there was a man who needed help with his telescope. I offered to fix it up for him." "Liar!" Sakura screamed out. Naruto let out a little laugh. Kakashi only smiled. "Anyway, let's get going." Oddly enough, that was the truth. He figured no one would believe the truth anyway. Flashback. Jiraiya-sama. Jiraiya was at the local hot springs doing his favorite pastime, peeping. He sighed. It was always interruptions, never any peace and quiet. He turned around to see that it was only Konoha's copy ninja. "Ah, it's you, Hataki-san. I thought you were the Gaki again. What can I do for you?" Jiraiya gave the copy ninja with a look that said, "Hurry the hell up. The ladies wait for no one." Was Naruto just here? Kakashi looked around for Naruto, seeing if he left a trail or something. "You just missed him, Kakashi. He was just here dropping off his letters for Araki and Hikaru." Jiraiya turned back around and looked into the peephole. Drool dripped out from the side of his mouth as he started giggling and writing down information on his notepad. Kakashi let out a little cough. "Jiraiya-sama, I wanted to know how good Naruto is, seeing as how this is his first C-rank mission." Jiraiya let out a little laugh. "Don't worry about anything, Kakashi. Naruto's more capable than most jounins out there. Why, I dare say he is on par with you or even better. I don't know. We never went all out in a spar." Kakashi had his jaw drop. Even though it was not visible under his mask, he could tell that Jiraiya knew his reaction. How is that possible? He's only a genin. Jiraiya stopped looking into the peephole and had a serious look on his face. The experiences that life throws at humans teach us so many things. You of all people should know that. Naruto is a gifted child, but not in the way of a genius or prodigy. He never had anything handed to him. He always worked towards his goals. He is someone that will surpass any genius. I'll be damned if that boy isn't Hokage someday. Watch over him, Kakashi. He'll make us all proud one day. Kakashi was speechless. He didn't know what to say. "Oh, by the way, when you see him, tell him to take it off." Kakashi looked at him with a confused look. "Take it off?" Take what off? Jiraiya turned around with a smirk on his face. That's for us to know and you to find out. Now if you'll excuse me, my book needs to come out. Kakashi immediately bowed his head. If it was for the greater good of Ika Paradise, he would gladly leave him alone. Thank you, Jiraiya-sama. I will tell him, and best of luck with the book. Kakashi disappeared, leaving Jiraiya to his work. Flashback end. Kakashi was, more than ever, itching for a rematch with the boy. As the group was moving out, Team 7 took one last look at Konoha before leaving. Naruto saw the uneasiness from his other team members. Homesick already, guys? We're barely 3 minutes away. Sasuke gave Naruto a glare. Sakura frowned. It's your first time out here as well. Don't act so high and mighty. Naruto only smiled towards her. If only you knew Haruno. Kakashi remembered that he had something to pass on to Naruto. I got a message from your sensei. He said to take them off. Kakashi gave Naruto a confused look. Do you know what he meant by that? Naruto didn't answer. He had a little smirk on his face. No, not really. Kakashi didn't believe the boy. A liar knows when another liar is lying. Kakashi didn't want to press matters any further and continued walking. The group continued walking into the forest. The forest was a magnificent sight for Sakura and Sasuke, seeing as how they never left the village. The forest was dense, yet sunlight still managed to find its way in. Sasuke was walking in front of Tazuna while Naruto and Sakura walked besides the man and Kakashi brought up the rear. Naruto spotted a puddle as the group proceeded further along the road. It hasn't rained in days. I wonder. Naruto focused on his nose to increase his sense of smell. He sensed that something was down there. Genjutsu, probably. Naruto shot Kakashi a quick warning about the puddle. Kakashi took one look at the puddle and signaled for him to continue on. Naruto nodded and ignored the puddle as they walked past it. The puddle began to disappear as the group passed it. Two ninjas, clothed in dark colors, rushed towards the unexpected copy ninja. They rushed past him and warped their metal chain around the ninja. One dash. Down. They pulled on the chain and ripped Kakashi into pieces. Sakura screamed as she saw her sensei killed by two mysterious ninjas. His lifeless body was in pieces, lying on the ground. Tazuna backed away in fear. He was looking for his bodyguards but only saw the girl screaming. He was crying to himself. Oh, why did I get stuck with her? He saw his life flashing as the ninjas ran towards him. Sasuke immediately threw a kunai as the ninjas rushed forward. The kunai impaled itself along with the chain against the tree, forcing the ninjas to stop moving. Sasuke dashed forward and clotheslined the two ninjas. The impact forced the chains to break from their gauntlets. They got back up slowly, with killing intent leaking out. Sasuke jumped back in front of Tazuna. I'll protect you with my life, old man. He slipped into the Uchiha stance and got ready. As the battle proceeded, no one noticed where the blonde disappeared. Sakura jumped back into the battle when she saw that Sasuke was the only one fighting. She stood next to Sasuke with her kunai held tightly in her hands. The mysterious ninjas rushed forward, claws aimed to kill. As they got closer, a pair of strong arms stopped them. Sakura's eyes lit up with happiness when she saw who it was. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura sighed with relief as her sensei stood in front of her once again and not dead. Sasuke looked at his once mutilated body to see it change into a pair of logs. Kawamari? I should have known. Kakashi had the two ninjas in a headlock and knocked them out by pressure point. Great job, Sasuke. You too, Sakura. Sasuke looked away, not wanting to show anyone that he was pleased with himself. If anyone saw him smiling right now, his reputation would go down the drain. The extra training he has been doing was finally paying off. Flashback. Sounds of metal hitting wood could be heard from the Uchiha district. Sasuke was training himself again, proving to his brother that he was not weak. Sasuke flipped over and launched 3 more kunais towards the tree. All of the 3 hit the target dead center. He ran towards the tree, throwing a punch following it up with a kick. He should get some rest. He trained for God knows how many hours today. He knew it was time to quit. His body knew it, and probably everyone that was sleeping knew it. He couldn't get over his humiliation from Naruto. His brother and Naruto. Sasuke gripped his fist harder and slammed it into the tree, causing leaves to shake off. Before Naruto, there was no one standing in his way to kill his brother, but ever since Naruto appeared, He found it harder. The mysterious blonde has hiding something big. He dropped to the ground on his back. There was no one left for him. His family was dead. There was no one to go home to. He wondered if Naruto was the same. He saw the dirty looks the boy received daily, and yet he hasn't done anything to stop it. It pissed him off to no end on how Naruto and his brother were similar. The power, the eyes, and even their attitudes. Sasuke felt his chakra spike up for a second before calming down. Sasuke closed his eyes thinking, it was a long week. Maybe it's time to go to bed. Sasuke eventually dragged himself to bed. He would need his energy tomorrow. Flashback end. Kakashi took out some rope and tied them up against a tree. Naruto appeared next to Kakashi as he was tying them down. Sasuke walked up to Naruto with a big smirk on his face. Got scared, dope? Naruto glanced at him, petrified. Naruto didn't give Sasuke a second look as he went up to Tazuna and glared. We need to talk. Tazuna gulped as he saw the cold look the boy had. Naruto, you have no right to do anything with the client. You weren't even here for the fight. Sakura pointed out. She was tired of his antics. No, Sakura, Naruto's right. We need to have a talk, Tazuna-san. She looked at Kakashi, then back to Naruto, and then sighed. All right, fine, have your little talk. She threw her hands up in the air and sat down on the floor. Naruto walked around Tazuna, like a vulture stalking its prey. Why are the demon brothers here, Tazuna-san? They don't usually take assassination jobs on unknown people. The price must be high if they wanted your head. Tazuna started to speak but was interrupted by Naruto. It better not be some emotional story or I'll finish the job myself. Tazuna backed away from the boy in fear, looking towards the Jounin for help. Kakashi paid him no attention as he started looking away. He was pleased with the way Naruto worked. Ibiki could take lessons from this boy. All right, just keep the boy away from me. Tazuna held his hands high up in the air. He sat down on the floor and took a drink of sake. As you know, I'm a bridge builder from Nami no Kuni. Nami no Kuni is a small nation that's poor. We lack the resources to bring ourselves back up, so I took on the project of building this bridge that will make trading easier. He took another drink from his bottle. But there is a man dash. Gatu right. Tazuna looked surprised. You heard of him? Naruto shrugged. He's supposedly a powerful shipping magnate that has many shady businesses around the country. Tazuna sighed. He came into our island and destroyed our economy by monopolizing the shipping routes that were essential for trade. That's why we couldn't afford to pay you guys any higher than a C-rank mission. Tazuna bowed his head in apology. Don't bow your head to me, old man. I could care less about your personal agendas. You paid for bodyguards and will fulfill our contract. We don't go back on our words. Sakura looked at Naruto with a surprised look. Wait, Naruto. You can't just make that decision. Sakura got up. She was already scared from the earlier attack and didn't want to risk another one. No, Sakura, we will continue this. Sasuke spoke up before Sakura had a chance to object. It wouldn't look good if we failed our first mission, right? Sakura sighed. There was no point in arguing with these two when they made up their mind. Okay, let's continue this mission, but please be careful, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke nodded his head. Tazuna was glad that these ninjas were not quitting on him. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I'll repay you guys somehow. Kakashi stood there smiling at his team. They're finally bonding with each other. Naruto may be a cold person, but his actions speak louder than his words. Now that we've decided, there's no turning back. Do you all agree with this? His students nodded. Okay, let's go then. The group moved out, leaving a message for Umbu to come and pick up the demon brothers. They continued traveling for several hours until the sky grew dark and it was time to set up camp. They decided on a spot in the woods, not too far from the main road to keep them from getting lost and not too close to the road where anyone can see them. Sakura and Sasuke turned in early, leaving Kakashi to take the first shift. Naruto and Tazuna sat by the fire, enjoying the silence between them. Tazuna was still feeling uncomfortable being in the boy's presence. He took another sip of his sake, deciding if it would be wise to initiate a conversation. Why do you risk your lives for people who don't even appreciate the things you're doing for them? Tazuna raised an eyebrow. He would have never expected the boy to talk, yet alone ask a question. I do this for my family. I want them to be happy. If it means to see a smile on their faces, I will go through hell and back just to see their smiles. Tazuna took another sip of his alcoholic drink. Naruto pondered on his answer. All his life, he had only a few people who he could consider family. Do you have anyone important to you, young man? Naruto let out a hollow laugh. Old man, the only people I consider family can be easily counted on one hand. Memories of the ones he cared about, memories of the ones he failed to protect. The promise that he swore started to reappear in his mind. Have I met you before, young man? Tazuna stared at the boy. He couldn't shake off that feeling. I'm just a young boy, old man. You can't expect someone like me to be traveling the world. Tazuna let out a loud laugh. You don't fool me, boy. Those eyes of yours give you away. I'll keep your secret for now. Naruto walked away, leaving the old man to his thoughts. Kakashi was leaning against the tree, listening to the entire story. He figured the boy needed more interaction with people. He knew it, the Hokage knew it, and everyone that cared for the boy knew it. The boy needed to soften his heart, to become more human. Kakashi walked away, going back to keeping watch around the campsite. Next morning, everyone was wide awake from a night of sleep. Their nerves relaxed, feeling refreshed. They continued on with the trip. While Naruto was walking, he felt a presence. He immediately withdrew a kunai and threw it into the bushes, almost killing the rabbit if the kunai was any lower. Sakura ran over to the rabbit. Oh, you poor thing. Look at what you did, you monster. Just because you hate life does not mean you can kill other living things. She was calmly petting the rabbit, trying to calm it down. Naruto ignored the girl, looking confused. It was springtime. Why was the fur on the rabbit white? The rabbit's fur tells what kind of mood it's in. A white fur rabbit meant that it was still in hibernation, and a brownish fur meant that it was already out from hibernation and hunting for food. Someone must have used a kawamari on it. Naruto continued looking around while Sakura rejoined the group. Naruto caught a faint sound of metal coming towards them. Get down! Naruto shouted as he dragged the old man down while Kakashi pulled Sakura and Sasuke to the ground. A large sword flew over the group, barely missing their heads. Hand over the old man and I'll let you live, said a dark voice of the man who was standing on top of the sword. Kakashi's eye widened as he recognized the man. Momochi Zabuza, the demon of the bloody mist. Zabuza raised an eyebrow. Oh, the great copy ninja Kakashi? The famous ninja who is rumored to have copied over 1,000 jutsus. Naruto stepped forward, but Kakashi held his arm out, signaling the boy to stop. Naruto, stay with the others. I'll handle this. Kakashi lifted his Hitai-8, revealing the Sharingan. What the hell? The Sharingan. Sasuke was looking at Kakashi, puzzling thoughts going in his head. So that's the famous Sharingan I heard so much about. I wondered if the rumors were true. I recall something from the Mist Bingo book. They wanted your head dead or alive, Kakashi. Is Kakashi-sensei that great of a ninja? Sakura thought as she watched the two men talk. What is your purpose here, Zabuza? Kakashi stared at the missing nin, not letting the man out of his sight. I was hired by Gatu to kill the old man. Hand him over and I promise to not kill you guys. Zabuza replied confidently. Naruto chuckled. Sakura and Sasuke formed a ring around Tazuna while Kakashi stood in front of his team, not moving an inch. The hard way? Fine. I like the hard way as well. Zabuza disappeared from the tree with his sword and landed on the ground. Zabuza performed some quick hand seals and whispered quietly, Kirigakur no Jutsu. Thick mist started coming in from every direction. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura gathered around Tazuna, forming a circle. Kakashi stood his ground, turning his head, looking everywhere. His Sharingan was useless in this mist. He couldn't detect anything. Times like this he wished his eye wasn't a Sharingan but a Byakugan instead. He sighed. Beggars can't be choosers here. He was trying to detect Zabuza's chakra signal but failed. He hoped Naruto had better luck. Naruto was calmly analyzing the situation. Kakashi sensed his students feeling tensed. Don't worry, guys. I won't let my teammates die. Naruto let out a little laugh. Zabuza's known for his silent killing style. Silent killing is a method that requires the user to become quick and silent. He'll step in quickly and quietly and kill you before you even know it. In some cases, you would be dead before you even know it. Everyone became tensed again. Sakura was shaking in fear. Sasuke was trembling. He found it hard to breathe. Guys, take it easy, small deep breaths. Kakashi shot Naruto an angry look. He was trying to calm the other two down and Naruto instantly brought their fears back. 8 places. Zabuza spoke through the mist. Liver, lungs, spine, jugular vein, carotid artery, brain, kidneys, heart. There are 8 places that I can target and all of them are critical places. Sakura started panicking. She couldn't move her body, found it hard to breathe. Is this what a jounin battle feels like? It's over. Everyone turned their eyes to see Zabuza standing in the middle of the group, hands on his zanbato. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura screamed, and before anyone could move, Zabuza swung. Kakashi immediately summoned chakra to his feet and dashed forward towards Zabuza. Arg! Zabuza yelled in pain as he felt someone slam into him, forcing him back. Kakashi rammed a kunai into Zabuza's stomach and forced him into the pond. Fool! Kakashi widened in surprise as the Zabuza he stabbed disappeared into water. Mizu Bushin. Zabuza appeared behind him and smirked. He swung his giant zanbato once again with ease and cleaved Kakashi in half. Zabuza stopped smirking when he realized that the person he killed in front of him turned into water. What? He copied my technique in the mist as well. Kakashi appeared behind him with a kunai to his neck. It's over. Everyone watching the fight felt relief. The mist was disappearing, seeing as how the mist required the user to be in concentration to sustain it. Kakashi had the upper hand and no one was going to die today. Naruto was watching the fight closely. He felt another presence nearby but couldn't figure out where it was. Don't get too cocky. Zabuza elbowed Kakashi in the chest, forcing the copy ninja to step back. Zabuza jumped away while doing some hand seals. Suetun. Tepidama. Zabuza put his hands to his mouth, water bullets forming, and shot straight at Kakashi. Kakashi jumped up in the air, avoiding the bullets. He prepared his own hand seals and shouted Katon dash, but before he could finish it, Zabuza appeared above him and slammed his fist into the copy ninja's face. Kakashi was sent straight down to the pond. He slowed himself down enough to land on top of the water. Caught you! Kakashi turned around and saw Zabuza finish a set of head seals as water rose up and surrounded him. Suiro no Jutsu. Kakashi stared at the demon from inside his prison. How could I have been this careless? Run! This guy is out of your league! Kakashi shouted to his team, hoping that they would get the message and run. Sorry Kakashi, but if you only handed the old man over earlier, I would have let them live, but now it's too late for that. Zabuza formed some hand seals and created some Mizu Bushins. 10 copies of Zabuza appeared and ran towards the group. Kakashi gave the real Zabuza a sad smile. No Zabuza, I feel sorry for you. Zabuza gave Kakashi a confused look. HM? What do you mean? Kakashi only chuckled. There is a boy that is even stronger than me. Before Zabuza could ask any more, water splashed everywhere. His clones were dispelled. Zabuza's eyes widened as he recognized that technique. A voice echoed the name of the technique, Shiranui Ryu. Tsuchi Batsu. Chunks of rock came flying towards the real Zabuza, but he knocked it all away with his own sword. Naruto stood there, holding his sword on his shoulder. Everyone looked in surprise. Sasuke and Sakura were gawking at Naruto's sword and his abilities. Why Zabuza? Surely you remember me. Naruto shot Zabuza a cold, piercing glare. Zabuza didn't dare step back. His eyes widened in fear. He remembered the boy. Why are you here? You should have been dead. Naruto gave him an eerie smile. You should have made sure then. Naruto charged forward, towards the missing Nin. Have you met my newest addition? Meet Tenro. Naruto swung his sword for Zabuza's neck but was blocked by the giant Zanbato. Zabuza released Kakashi from his prison. Naruto appeared next to Kakashi, grabbed his vest and threw him back to the land. I'll handle this, Kakashi-sensei. The copy ninja could only nod as he got back up. He was shocked to know that Naruto knew Zabuza and the fact that Zabuza actually feared Naruto. Let's settle this once and for all, Zabuza. Naruto swung his sword towards the man. Zabuza parried the sword strike and swung his horizontally. The two engaged in a sword battle while the others on the other side only stared. Who is Naruto? Kakashi-sensei? Sakura was putting the pieces together. No genin should have this much power to fight an A-rank missing Nin on even grounds. I don't have the answer to that question, Sakura. Kakashi didn't even look at her. He was too busy trying to watch the fight. Sasuke gripped his fists so hard that his knuckles turned white. I must have his power. He was mesmerized by the fight. Was he jealous of Naruto? The power that the blonde had? He shook off his feelings. No, he was going to force himself to work even harder until he can beat Naruto. One day, Naruto, I'll beat you. Tazuna was standing there, shocked that the boy can match the demon of the mist evenly. As the people on the ground continued watching, Naruto caught Zabuza with a thrust to his shoulder. Zabuza found himself being pushed back as Naruto yanked his sword out from the wound. Blood flowed out as the wound opened wider. He followed up by a quick swipe to the head, but Zabuza ducked and kicked the blonde away. He stood up, panting for air. Naruto stood in front of Zabuza, looking at him with his cold eyes. What? Tired already? You have gotten soft in your old age, Zabuza. Zabuza glared at him, panting for air. The fight was taking a lot out of him. If it was just Kakashi, he would have been fine, but to find this boy here again was beyond fine. He knew he had no chance against him. Tired? No way. Zabuza lunged towards the boy. He quickly formed a familiar set of hand seals and shouted, Suetun. Tepidama, water bullets shot towards Naruto once again. Pathetic. Is this the man you became, Zabuza? Naruto flipped through a series of hand seals that Zabuza didn't recognize. Suetun. Junsai no Jutsu, a barrier of water appeared in front of Naruto, absorbing most of the bullets. Where was the man that I respected? Zabuza growled. That man is dead, brat. You don't know the hell I went through. Naruto focused his chakra into his right hand and rammed it into the demon's face. The impact sent Zabuza off of the river and into a tree. Naruto appeared in front of the man, holding his sword out. Then the last thing I can do for you is to grant you a quick death. The rest of Team 7 was watching the conversation between the two. They wondered how Naruto knew Zabuza and what their relationship was. Kakashi was already drained from using his Sharingan. He pulled his Hitayate down when he noticed something odd about Zabuza. He sensed an abnormality in the missing Nin's chakra levels. Naruto, look out. The warning came too late as Zabuza smirked and kicked Naruto away. He shouted, Suetun. Suryuden no Jutsu. Never look away, brat. Zabuza concentrated his chakra into the attack. There was no way the brat could have survived this. The water dragon rose up from the ground and charged straight at Naruto. Naruto only shook his head. Don't you know when you're already beaten? Naruto concentrated chakra into his right hand. He slammed his fist between the eyes of the dragon, causing the attack to break apart. As the attack fell apart, Zabuza appeared from where the water dragon was. Don't count me down yet. He quickly performed his final hand seal and concentrated hard. It was now or never. Suetun. Daibakufu no Jutsu. Naruto stared at the huge amount of water coming towards him. Holy shit. That's a lot of water. Naruto tried to move his legs, but he couldn't move. He saw why he couldn't move. The attack from the dragon forced some rocks to be caught between his legs. He didn't notice it until now. His eyes widened as he saw the attack hit him straight on. Naruto! Kakashi and the rest of Team 7 shouted. Thousands of gallons of water exploded on Naruto, hitting him so hard that he felt like getting beat with 1,000 metal objects. He felt like a broken puzzle, being smashed over and over, pain shooting all around his body. Zabuza stood there panting. His chakra levels were now depleted, but he finally put one over the brat. Naruto struggled up to his feet. Almost had me there, Zabuza. Naruto gave him a little smile. Zabuza couldn't find the strength to answer the boy. They looked each other in the eye, newfound respect for each other found. Naruto went through a series of hand seals and held his hand forth in a Ryu seal. Lightning soon found its way onto the battlefield. Naruto's hand glowed in a bright color. Sounds can be heard from it. He shouted the name of the famous technique. Raijin Morien no Jutsu. Zabuza's eyes widened. He heard tales of this technique. If the brat was using this technique, it must have meant that the rumors were true. Naruto dashed forward, his hands held forward, aiming to kill. Before Naruto reached Zabuza, several senbon needles impaled Zabuza by its neck. Zabuza fell down to the floor, not moving. Naruto canceled his technique, surprised by a sudden turn of events. A mysterious hunter nin appeared besides the dead body. The hunter nin bowed his head. Thank you for your assistance. As the hunter nin approached the fallen ninja, Naruto reached for his wrist. "What do you think you're doing, partner?" The hunter Nin looked at Naruto shocked. He attempted to remove the iron grip but found some difficulty. "Naruto, you did a good job, now let the hunter Nin do his job." Kakashi walked up to Naruto, his Hittite back in its original place. The other members were still with Tazuna, shocked at the power that he displayed. Naruto stared at the hunter Nin. "This is my prey. If you want it, you'll have to fight me for it." The hunter Nin threw Naruto a bag full of Ryo and removed the hand from his wrist. Naruto smiled to himself. As he was turning around, he turned his head to the hunter Nin. "Tell him next time we meet, I'll kill him." The hunter Nin immediately disappeared, knowing that his cover was now blown and the chance of escape was quickly diminishing. Kakashi looked at Naruto in surprise. "How did you know that he wasn't a real hunter Nin?" Naruto ignored his question. He was too tired to answer it. He felt his body ache in pain, his will to stay conscious quickly failing. "I should have listened to Ero-sennin," Naruto said to no one in particular as he felt himself losing consciousness while falling to the ground. It was always the same feeling, the warmth that darkness brought. People claimed that darkness was cold and numb, but he couldn't disagree more. If this warmth wasn't darkness, he didn't know what was. He almost felt like he was in an embrace with his parents. How he longed for a family, the memories and feelings that the word brought to people. Sasuke grunted in pain. It was definitely not one of his good days. He was stuck carrying Naruto on his back. Kakashi collapsed to the ground after the battle, stating that he was nearly depleted of chakra, leaving Sasuke the only one capable of carrying the blonde. He looked at Naruto. No one knew anything about him. His mind was still replaying the fight from earlier. Naruto fought a high-level missing Nin on even grounds. Anger started to build up as he recalled the jutsus that Naruto displayed. And where did he get the sword? Why did it look so exotic yet powerful? There were so many unanswered questions concerning the boy. He sighed. He was getting a headache just thinking about it. He couldn't get his answers as long as the blonde was still unconscious. He looked at Kakashi, who was using Tazuna as support, making small talk as they walked to Tazuna's house. Silence surrounded the group as they walked. The small talk died out. Everyone had the same question on their minds: who was Naruto Uzumaki? Sakura looked at her fallen comrade. "He's not by regular standards a genin like us, and he knows Zabuza somehow." Sasuke looked at her confused. "Not a regular genin? What do you mean by that?" Sakura looked at him surprised, realizing that she spoke her thoughts aloud. She felt her cheeks go red, blushing from embarrassment. "You guys are only half correct." Kakashi spoke up, saving Sakura the trouble of explaining. She silently thanked her sensei. "Naruto has experienced things that we couldn't even begin to experience." Kakashi was thinking back to his earlier conversation with Jiraiya-sama. It is our very own life experiences that make a person stronger. All the training that we do, the training that we receive, and the jutsus we know will be useless if we don't have the experience to use them efficiently. Naruto has all of them, which allowed him to advance this far. At the rate he is going, I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a legend someday. Tazuna nodded his head. You can see it in his eyes. The boy carries a burden on his shoulders. Kakashi laughed silently to himself. If you only knew what Naruto was carrying. Sasuke noticed Kakashi's amused look. What's so funny, Kakashi-sensei? Do you know something about Naruto that we don't? Kakashi paid the boy no attention. The third's law was still in effect and he wanted to be alive for the next volume of Ika Ika Paradise. Do you really want to know what I'm thinking? He chuckled evilly. Sasuke shook his head. It was probably best not to know. Sakura was thinking back to the times when they first met Naruto. The blonde was silent except for the times when he directed his insults towards Sasuke and her. He didn't speak much about his past or the things he wanted to do. Even his introduction to Team 7 was short. He didn't give any interesting information except becoming the greatest Hokage and… Sakura's eyes widened. I hate this village. His voice echoed through her head. He hates the village. What if Naruto decides to do something to them? She decided to keep her thoughts to herself until she confronted Naruto. After a while, the group could finally see a small town. Tazuna smiled. We're finally here. Everyone looked towards the town. It felt different somehow. When you look at Konoha, you see people enjoying themselves, happy and lively, but when you look at this town, it's quiet and gloomy. The group arrived in front of Tazuna's house. all tired and ready to sleep except for Naruto, who was already asleep. "Welcome to my humble home, guys." Tazuna opened the door and ushered them in. "Tsunami, I'm home," Tazuna yelled out. "I'm in here, Dad," a soft voice spoke back. A feminine figure walked out from the kitchen. "Oh, you brought home guests." Tsunami introduced herself and bowed her head. "Welcome to our home." She looked at the group. A man with silver hair and a couple of children. Her eyes fell to the blonde. "Oh, Kami, is he okay?" She rushed over, taking him off Sasuke's back. Sasuke gratefully released the boy, dropping him into her arms. He stretched his aching muscles, feeling glad that Naruto was finally off his back. Kakashi waved his hand nonchalantly, calming Tsunami down. "He's okay. He just passed out from exhaustion. All he needs is some sleep and he'll be good as new." Tsunami sighed. "That's a relief. Let's get him to bed then." Sasuke saw Kakashi giving him a weird look. He glared at Kakashi when he realized what his sensei was hinting. He just got rid of the heavy load and now he has to carry him again. Sasuke sighed and picked Naruto up once more, moving him into the spare room. Next morning, Naruto opened his eyes. He didn't recognize the location, nor did he see anyone from his team. He slowly moved his body around, which indicated that they were all right in case he had to fight his way out. He got up slowly and saw that he was in a small room. He heard some noises from outside the door. "What a time for me to be without my sword." Naruto slowly made his way over to the door, not making any noise as he moved. He waited until he was sure his guards were gone before making his move, but he hesitated when he saw the door opening slowly. As the door opened, Naruto jumped behind his so-called captor. He put his hands to cover the mouth and the throat. He was taken by surprise when his captor let out a scream, a very feminine scream. He turned his captor around and came face to face with a good-looking woman if he was into older women. Her scream was heard throughout the house. In an instant, he heard noises coming from the outside. "Tsunami, what happened? Are you okay?" Tazuna came rushing into the room, followed by Team 7. Naruto backed away, trying to understand the situation. "Someone better tell me what's going on." After Kakashi explained that Naruto was in Tazuna's house and that Sasuke carried him here after he passed out, Naruto apologized to Tsunami for sneaking up on her. She told him it was alright since it was her fault for not knocking on the door. Kakashi turned to Naruto. "We're having breakfast downstairs. Why don't you join us?" Naruto nodded his head. "Then we're going to do some training." Naruto raised his eyebrows. Kakashi saw the boy raised his eyebrows. "Yes, training. Zabuza's still pretty much alive and kicking, so we're training." Naruto let out a little laugh as he followed everyone downstairs for breakfast. In the forest, Team 7 followed Kakashi into the woods, where it was abundant with trees. It was too green for Naruto's taste. Kakashi stood in front of a very sturdy tree. "Okay guys, today we're doing tree climbing." Sakura gave him a confused look. "But we already know how to climb trees, sensei." Kakashi gave her a smile behind his mask. "But not like this." Kakashi applied some chakra to his feet before slowly walking up the tree until he hung upside down from a tree branch. "This is ninja-style tree walking." He saw the shocked look Sakura and Sasuke had on their face. He noticed that Naruto was yawning. I might have to do something special for him." The point of this training is to climb the trees using your feet. Kakashi threw several kunais down to his students. "Apply some chakra to your feet and try it. You may not use your hands." Sasuke and Sakura picked up the kunais and tried it themselves. Sasuke looked at the tree. "Okay, apply some chakra and climb." He concentrated some chakra to his feet and climbed. He climbed up about 3 feet before the tree cracked under his footstep and he jumped off. Kakashi saw Sasuke's problem. "Too much chakra and you'll be blown away, whereas if you have too little chakra and you'll fall." "Hey, this is pretty easy." Everyone turned their heads to see Sakura all the way up in the tree. Kakashi raised his eyebrow. "Oh, it looks like she surpassed the mighty Uchiha and the person who wants to become Hokage in this exercise." Sasuke glared at Kakashi. Sakura saw the look Sasuke gave Kakashi. "Shut up, Baka Kakashi-sensei." She didn't want Sasuke mad at her. I'm not doing this exercise." Kakashi frowned at the boy. "Won't or you can't, Naruto?" Naruto looked at him with a bored look. "You're just wasting my time here." Naruto grabbed the kunai and balanced it with the tip of his finger. "Being a clown won't help you in this exercise, dobe." Naruto smirked at Sasuke. He walked up the tree calmly, still balancing the kunai. He walked up the tree and passed Sakura in the process. He walked at the top and walked back down. How did you like my act, Sasuke-chan? Sasuke glared at him. What the hell? I will finish this exercise and beat you, Naruto. Kakashi looked at the boy with amazement. He not only walked up the tree but focused chakra into the kunai so it wouldn't fall as well. He was doing 2 exercises at once. Amazing. I think his chakra control is even better than Sakura's. We'll try water walking then. Kakashi jumped off from his branch and landed on the ground. Wow, looks like you're not just all talk, Naruto. Sakura, continue walking up and down the tree, and Sasuke, continue until you finish with the exercise and you. Kakashi looked at Naruto. Come with me. Kakashi started walking, leaving Naruto behind. Naruto shrugged his shoulders as he followed the older ninja. He smirked at Sasuke as he walked past him. Try not to lag behind, dead last. Sasuke glared at him with so much anger that if Naruto were a tree, there would be no remains of him. Naruto walked away laughing. Sasuke stared at the tree with looks of determination and ran towards it. Elsewhere in the forest. What do you want now, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto looked at his sensei with a bored look. In truth, Naruto wanted to be left alone so he can train without wandering eyes. Kakashi answered him in a serious tone. I want to know the extent of your abilities. Naruto gave him a little laugh. You already asked, Ero-sennin, you don't need to ask me. Kakashi gave him a surprised look. Don't ask how I know. I just know he told you. Kakashi nodded his head. Okay, do you know the water walking technique? Naruto nodded. Then let's take it up a level. I want you to do a 1-arm handstand on top of the water. Naruto walked over to the water and did his task. He turned his head and looked at Kakashi. Now what? Kakashi answered him back in a sadistic tone. Now the fun begins. Kakashi proceeded to take out several kunais and tied some string around it. This is to build up your already large chakra reserves and improve your 6th sense. Naruto looked at him with crazy eyes. Sadistic teacher. Oh, why am I always surrounded by them? Elsewhere. Araki was drinking her daily tea while enjoying the peacefulness. She let out a little sneeze. That damn brat must be talking about me behind my back. She rubbed her hands together. Payback is going to be fun. Back to the lake. Naruto was still struggling to stay alive as Kakashi was having the time of his life. He was dodging Kakashi's kunais from every angle. He found this more challenging than the regular water walking exercises. Naruto kept dodging the weapons, but he soon found himself getting tired. Then it came to him, the reason why he was using twice the required chakra amount was because he was enhancing his arm and standing on top of water. Oh, I'm going to be sore tomorrow. Several hours later. Kakashi made his way back to Sakura and Sasuke. It was fun training with the blonde. He had always wanted to do the things his sensei did to him when he was a genin, and now he had the chance to do it to his sensei's son. Oh, revenge was sweet. Kakashi arrived to see Sakura sitting there, exhausted. Her chakra reserves must have doubled from the training today. Faint sounds of kunai scratching against the tree could still be heard from the area. Kakashi saw Sasuke still going up the tree, his markings increasing each time he marched up the tree. What a scary bunch these 3 will become. Zabuza will have his hands full when we meet again. He noted that their skills were increasing with each passing hour. Okay guys, good job. Let's go back. Kakashi disappeared in smoke, leaving the others behind to wander back at their own pace. Sakura got up slowly, trying to get the feeling back into her legs. Sasuke-kun, let's go back any? She looked at Sasuke getting higher and higher. He left a final scratch mark before jumping away and landing on his knees. He was trying to catch his breath while mentally cursing his sensei for this ridiculous exercise. HN. He slowly got up and walked towards the house. In the house, Kakashi noticed that 2 of his students were here but didn't see the last one. Did any of you guys see Naruto? He received no answer. Sakura was too tired to answer him, and Sasuke showed no interest. He sighed. It looks like it was up to him to search for the blonde boy. As he got close to the door opened and narrowly missed the ninja's face. Whoops. Watch yourself there, Kakashi-sensei. I might have broken your face or something if you were closer. Kakashi frowned as he watched Naruto smirked. That was too close, too tightly planned. He was gonna watch out for Naruto now. Naruto closed the door and greeted Tsunami. Dinner's in a little bit, Naruto, why don't you go wash up? Naruto nodded his head as he got ready for dinner. Several minutes later, everyone was sitting down for a peaceful dinner. No glares were thrown. Normal conversation flowed smoothly, only because everyone was tired. Sasuke glared at Naruto. "Where were you all day, Dobe? Too good to train with us." Naruto continued eating, ignoring the Uchiha. A pair of chopsticks dropped to the table and a pair of hands slammed the table. "Why do you try so hard like that? Even if you train, you can't beat Gatu's men, no matter how hard you work or how big you talk. Against the strong, the weak loses." Tears dripped down to the table. Inari glared at Naruto. "You, Uzumaki, I hate your cocky attitude. How can you be like that?" Tears were dripping down the young boy's eyes. No one said anything and let the boy vent out his frustrations. "You think training is going to help you become a hero? A hero is useless and stupid." Naruto finished his meal. "Are you done whining yet? You're ruining my meal." Naruto put his chopsticks down slowly. "Are you that desperate that you have given up hope already?" Everyone looked at Naruto, wondering where he was going with this. Before Inari could answer, Naruto disappeared and reappeared by the wall, holding Inari by his throat. Kakashi jumped up. He didn't even see the boy move. Naruto put his hands up, interrupting the copy ninja. Naruto turned his attention to Inari. "Go on. Tell me how much you hate me and how I'm going to die," he asked in a cold, monotone voice. Inari, ever since the time he almost drowned in the river, was scared of death. He has never been this scared for his life before. It was Naruto's eyes that scared him the most. They were so cold, so harsh. He saw the boy in front of him actually grinning. Naruto started laughing. "You are just a pathetic piece of trash that Gatu probably wouldn't take the time to even kill. You are a waste of his time and mine. So why don't I do both of us a favor and kill you right now?" Naruto took out a kunai and slammed it into the wall, missing Inari's face by a few centimeters, nicking the side of his face. Blood started to slowly drip out. Tsunami screamed, fearing for her son's life, while Kakashi and Tazuna dashed up to Naruto, trying to save the boy. Naruto saw their advancements from the corner of his eyes. "Move another inch and I'll kill him." Kakashi backed away slowly. "Calm down, Naruto. He's only a boy, he doesn't know what he's saying right now." Team 7 recalled the story that Tazuna told them about Inari's father. Sasuke and Sakura stood there watching Naruto. They didn't want to move, and cause Naruto to kill the boy, they didn't know what he was capable of. Naruto's cold blue eyes never left Inari. The boy felt like he was staring into the soul of a demon. "Brat, you know nothing about a hard life. So what if your father is dead? Is crying going to bring him back? I bet he's crying in his grave right now because you're so useless." Everyone flinched at the harsh words Naruto was throwing at the boy. "Why don't you actually do something with those hands of yours? If you die in the process, you could have said that you tried and died, but here you're whining about your problems. Grow up." Naruto held his left hand out and a scroll dropped down. The Tenro soon replaced the scroll and Naruto was holding the sword in his left hand. "Say hello to your father for me in the afterlife." Naruto swung his sword at Inari. Tsunami screamed while everyone rushed forward. Everyone stopped when they saw the sword stopping inches away from the boy's neck. Naruto smirked. "That's the way to go, Inari. You told me you didn't care, but your eyes tell me differently. Consider yourself lucky. I'll kill you if you whine again." Naruto dropped the boy to the ground. "Naruto, you're going to be in so much trouble for this. I'm going to report this." Sakura continued screaming at the blonde for trying to assassinate the boy. Naruto ignored her and left the house. Kakashi noticed that Inari wasn't shaking. A normal person who was in a life and death situation would be shaking, but he wasn't. He was going to have a talk with the boy later. Tsunami and Tazuna rushed over to comfort Inari. Later in the night, Kakashi saw Inari sitting by the docks, staring out into the vast sea. "Is it okay if I sit here?" He wondered how the boy was doing after the scene with Naruto. The boy didn't answer him, so Kakashi took his silence as a yes and sat down next to the boy. "You know, Naruto didn't mean to say all of those things. He doesn't think when he speaks." Kakashi still didn't receive any kind of response from the boy. You know, Naruto grew up without any parents, without friends, without anyone." Kakashi thought back to 12 years ago, when his sensei was still alive. "If only you were here to guide him, sensei." Inari looked at Kakashi with sad eyes. "Don't apologize for him. He made me see something that I was too blind to see. The boy got up and left the copy ninja alone. In the forest. Arg. Stupid people and their attitudes piss me off. Naruto swung his sword at another clone, causing it to disappear. Damn them all. He spun around and slashed 3 clones at once. They don't know the pain I feel. A clone was kicked up into the air. Naruto threw his sword on the ground. They don't know how it feels to be alone. Naruto appeared on top of the clone. They don't know what it is like to be me. A Rasengan formed in Naruto's hands. His eyes flashed red for a second. Uzumaki Raisen. He thrust the sphere into the clone, dispelling it before landing back on the ground. He surveyed the area. No longer was it a beautiful place for people to stare at nature's finest. It was now a scene of destruction. Trees fallen, craters and debris everywhere. Naruto sighed. He fell on his back and closed his eyes, sleeping his fatigue away and welcoming the nightmares back once again. Next morning. Naruto was rudely awakened the next morning by a bucket of water. He jumped up, forgetting where he was and glaring at his practical joker. His eyes widened when he saw who it was. You! Elsewhere. Stupid Kakashi-sensei. What can be going through that mind of his when he's sending me out to look for Naruto? Sakura had the task of looking for the blonde. No one wanted or seemed to care where the blonde disappeared to after his little episode last night. She recalled that no one mentioned his name after he left. Sakura wandered around the forest, hoping she would see his dead body being eaten by wolves. She sighed. If only she was that lucky. She heard some voices talking nearby and decided to see if it was someone she knew. She walked towards the voices and gasped when she saw who it was. It was Naruto and that hunter Nin from the other day. The one that Kakashi-sensei said was Zabuza's accomplice. Is he with the enemy? That means Naruto is with the enemy too. Okami, this is big. I have to warn Kakashi-sensei. Sakura saw Naruto was laughing and rolling on the floor with the hunter Nin. That was enough proof for her. She instantly ran back to let Kakashi know. Back with Naruto. Haku, you jerk. How long has it been since we've met? Naruto had him in a headlock and was wrestling with him. Haku was struggling to get out of the headlock. Ugh. Get off me, dummy. The boys were too busy wrestling to have noticed someone running away. After some more wrestling and Naruto getting soaked, Haku finally got away from Naruto. Take off that stupid mask, Haku. Naruto got tired of looking at the stupid mask. He's been wearing one for most of his life anyway. Haku placed a hand to his face and removed his mask. Didn't want to scare you so early in the morning, Naruto. Haku laughed. Naruto leaned back, lying on the ground. So how is Zabuza doing? Haku answered in a serious tone. He will be okay. He's the kind of person that doesn't stay in bed long. He'll be up and ready in no time. Now my question to you is, why are you here? Naruto sighed. Long story. To make it short, those are Konoha ninjas and they're part of my team. I'll give you a warning though. Stay out of my way so I can finish this mission. Naruto gave Haku a cold glare. Haku returned an equal icy glare that matched the blonde's. We're also here to do a job. It looks like we'll have to fight. Don't come crying to me when I kill the other two. Naruto let out a little laugh before it grew into a full-grown laughter. I wouldn't even cry if you kill them right now. In fact, it'll be easier for me. Haku stared at him with a disbelief look. He noticed the changes that affected Naruto. Do you still not have any precious people? Naruto shrugged. This subject would always somehow find its way between the two whenever they were talking. The same as always. They can always be counted on one hand. Haku looked at him with sad eyes. Then you still don't understand Naruto. Haku took off, leaving Naruto alone to his thoughts. Back at the house. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura screamed through the door. Everyone was eating breakfast and jumped up when Sakura screamed. Kakashi looked around the house. He didn't see any signs of an attack. Are we getting attacked? Sakura shook her head. Are we going to be attacked? Again, Sakura shook her head. Then don't scream. Everyone calmed down and resumed eating. Wait, I saw Naruto with the hunter Nin from the other day. That caught everyone's attention. I was walking through a forest and then I heard some voices, so I thought I would walk closer and find out if it was Naruto or not. When I got closer, I saw Naruto and the hunter Nin laughing and wrestling around, like they were old friends. Kakashi had a skeptical look in his eye. He would have never thought Naruto was a traitor. Hell, he didn't even like other people much, and he would never betray his team. There was still a what-if going on in his head. If there was a slight chance that Naruto betrayed them, he would have to request backup because there was no way he could match Naruto like this. I highly doubt that he's a traitor, Sakura. Maybe your eyes were playing tricks on you. Before Sakura could answer, they heard the door open and Naruto walked in. He gave them a wave before sitting down. Everyone gave him cat-eous looks. Naruto noticed that everyone was tense and quiet. What? Do I have something on my face? It was a long minute before anyone talked. You're a traitor, Sakura screamed out, holding a kunai in her hand. Naruto was taken back by the outburst. What do you mean? It's just like she said, Dobe. A voice spoke from behind Naruto. He felt a kunai tip on his throat. He didn't even need to turn around to know who it was. Team, what do you think you're doing? Sasuke held the kunai firmly at the boy's throat. Kakashi wanted to smack them for their outburst. This was not the way to do this, so he tried his best to not let the situation get out of hand. It's not what you think, Naruto. Naruto cut his sensei off. Having the team holding a weapon against my throat and Haruno calling me a traitor would really explain why everyone is giving me strange looks. Killing intent slowly leaked out from Naruto. Sakura started shaking. This was worse than the time we fought Zabuza. Is he going to kill us? Sakura regretted opening her big mouth without thinking about it. Sasuke was feeling the full effect of it. He found his arms shaking. What is this feeling? It feels like he can kill me without blinking. So you saw me with Hakuha Haruno? Naruto continued when he saw no answer from the girl. I sensed you were there. Only an idiot would miss your screams of "Oh Kami" while you ran back. Everyone in the forest heard your pathetic voice. Kakashi shot Sakura a disbelief look. Sakura hung her head down in shame. Tazuna was looking at the situation in front of him. The situation was so tensed that you could actually feel the tension. Aren't you going to stop them, Kakashi-san? Kakashi looked at his team with a stern look. Put down the kunais now. Sakura looked at her sensei before answering, unsure of what to do. But Kakashi released some of his own killing intent. Now, everyone looked at the copy ninja in surprise. They never heard him scream before. Sakura and Sasuke put down their weapons hesitantly and sat next to their sensei. Naruto rubbed his neck, feeling good again. If you pressed any harder, my clone would have disappeared. A voice spoke behind them. Everyone turned around to see another Naruto standing there, with an impassive look on his face. They saw the Naruto that Sasuke had his kunai on disappeared in smoke. At least with Haku, I know who I can trust or not. With that, Naruto disappeared. Kakashi sighed. Great, just great. Next day. Team 7 doing another day of guard duty. Any day now, Zabuza would be coming to finish off the job and everyone was tense. They could only hope that Tazuna finished the bridge before he came. Sakura was yawning as she got bored watching everyone move. Sasuke was staring off into the river, thinking his own thoughts. Kakashi was too busy with reading his book to care what his students were doing. Suddenly Team 7 overhears someone complaining about the thick mist coming in and everyone jumped up. Kakashi put down his book. Everyone get off this bridge now. Tazuna, come over here. Everyone ran off the bridge while Team 7 surrounded Tazuna. Hello, Kakashi, a voice called out. Zabuza, looks like you're here early. Kakashi shouted back into the mist. Two figures appeared in front of the group. Zabuza stood there, holding on to the Kubikiri Hocho firmly. You got lucky last time, Kakashi. Kakashi noticed the second person there, the same Hunter Nin. Sakura's eyes widened when she recognized the boy. I told you so, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi gave her a look that said to shut her mouth. Let's make this quick and painful. Zabuza flipped through some hand seals and shouted Mizubushin no Jutsu. 5 water clones appeared besides the group. I'm surprised that you didn't train your group, Kakashi. The boy is shaking over there. Kakashi turned his head to see Sasuke shaking. Sasuke smirked. I'm not shaking with fear. I'm shaking with excitement. The 5 water clones disappeared in an instant. Zabuza scowled. Looks like you have been training them, Kakashi. No matter Haku will be more than enough for you, boy. Haku looked at the boy. He doesn't look like much. I'll finish this fast. He bowed his head and disappeared. Kakashi lifted his Hitai 8 to bring out the Sharingan. And we don't have Naruto this time. Back in the house. Two figures dawned outside the house, making their way in slowly. Tsunami was in the kitchen preparing lunch when she heard a knock on the door. She put down the knife and went to open the door. She was taken by surprise when her guests pushed their way in and tied her up. Inari ran down the stairs to see what the commotion was. When Tsunami saw her son running down the stairs, she screamed for him to run. Run, Inari. Inari tried to run, but Zori caught up to him before he got far. Waraji, what do you want to do with the boy? The shorter of the captors asked. He said he only wanted one hostage. The taller man, Waraji, was holding Tsunami firmly. Let's take him as well, with two. They wouldn't dare to make a move. Stop. Let him go or else I'll kill myself. Tsunami stood up. If I'm dead, you won't have much of a hostage. Zori laughed. We have your son, you know. Tsunami, as a mother, feared for her son's life. Please just let him go. She was crying now, praying to God that her son would be unharmed. The boss said to do whatever with the kid, so we'll sharpen our swords on his body. Zori took out his blade and brought it down on Inari. Tsunami let out a scream as Inari closed his eyes. You disgust me, a voice rang out. The thugs looked over to see Naruto holding Inari beside him. You okay, Inari? Inari looked up to see his savior. Naruto? Naruto nodded, turning his attention to the thugs. Zori looked at the kid he just stabbed, only to find out that it turned into a log. What the? Waraji looked at Tsunami before she too turned into a log. Naruto stood with Tsunami and Inari by his side. You guys disgust me. He turned his back to them and looked at the mother and son. Are you guys okay? They both nodded their head. I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner. I saw their markings in the forest and decided to follow them. As Naruto was speaking, he didn't notice the two thugs running towards him, blades aimed to kill. Tsunami's eyes widened when she saw the two men within striking distance. Look out, Naruto-kun. She tried to warn Naruto about the thugs. Naruto gave her a little smile. It's okay. People who have their hearts filled with lies and deceit can't escape the Tenro. Naruto sheathed his sword and made a click sound. The two men fell on the floor dead. They noticed the clean strikes that the thugs had on them, but what scared them the most was the part that they didn't notice Naruto taking out his sword. A hero always comes at the last second, Inari. I believe that you have the will to change things. Don't ever be afraid of your dreams. Inari nodded and embraced his mother. Before he could turn around to thank Naruto, he was already gone. At the bridge, Sasuke was battling the hunter nin named Haku. Sakura was guarding Tazuna while watching Sasuke while Kakashi was engaged in a battle with Zabuza. Blast these ice needles. Sasuke was dodging these needles for the past 5 minutes. You're not that bad for a genin. Haku created some more ice needles and threw them at Sasuke. Speak for yourself. Sasuke jumped away and shouted. Katan, Hosenka no Jutsu. Multiple fireballs came flying at Haku. The hunter nin jumped away, avoiding the fireball. You're slow. Haku turned around to see Sasuke behind him. Sasuke threw a kick, but Haku narrowly avoided it by twisting in midair. Sasuke continued his assault, throwing a spin kick at him. Haku ducked under and was about to throw a left hook when Sasuke disappeared. Bushin. Haku turned around and saw nothing. Doton. Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu. Haku looked surprised when he saw himself being pulled under. He struggled under the grasp of the boy. Haku focused some chakra to his legs and jumped, pulling Sasuke from the ground. Sasuke gave him a little smirk before letting go and performing some more hand seals. Ketan. Gokaku no Jutsu. A huge fireball went straight for Haku. He gritted his teeth as he barely dodged the fireball. He landed on the ground momentarily after being burnt. It's over. Sasuke held his kunai to Haku's throat. For you maybe. Sensatsu Suisho no Jutsu. Sasuke was surprised as he watched the boy perform hand seals with one hand. Thousands of ice needles came flying towards Sasuke. Sakura, who was watching the fight, screamed. With Kakashi. Kakashi turned his head to see thousands of needles flying towards his student. You shouldn't look away, Kakashi. Zabuza hit him square in the face with the blunt end of his sword. Kakashi flew back and did a backflip, landing on his feet. He cursed himself for looking away. Your student isn't faring so well, Kakashi. Kakashi turned his head to see mirrors forming around Sasuke. Zabuza laughed. It looks like Haku is finally getting serious. With Sasuke. Haku looked at the boy impressed. He escaped his Sensatsu Suisho with little damage. Maybe it's time to take it up a notch. Haku performed the hand seals and whispered the name quickly. Makio Hyosho Sasuke was surprised by the jutsu. He saw himself surrounded by mirrors. I don't need to look at myself. Haku frowned, laughing in the face of death. You remind me of someone. Haku stepped into the mirror, surprising Sasuke more. He threw sunbon needles at the boy. Sasuke did everything he could to avoid the attack, but he found that he was getting sluggish. Damn it! I'm running low on chakra. He saw glimpses of Haku moving between the mirrors. Haku noticed that Sasuke was able to follow his moments somewhat. It's not good if he awakens his bloodline limit during this fight. He traveled through some more mirrors, hoping to see if the boy had indeed awakened his bloodline limit. With Kakashi. Kakashi was having a hard time avoiding the huge sword. Left. He raised his kunai to block a strike from the left. It wasn't because he couldn't dodge it, it was because it was powerful. Your sword style is so easy to read, Zabuza. It's only the power of your strikes that makes you strong. Zabuza laughed. It is you who is easy to read. I'm only stalling for time until your student dies, Kakashi. Kakashi didn't take the time to watch Sasuke. He was not going to let his team die today. With Sasuke. I can see it. He saw his reflection from the mirrors and noticed his Sharingan had awoken. He gave Haku a tired smirk. He had awakened his bloodline limit a bit too late. The mighty Sharingan. A pity that your life ends now. Haku transported himself throughout some more mirror and threw a barrage of sunbon needles at Sasuke. He felt his legs giving out on him and was too tired to move. He grunted in pain when the needles hit him on his arms and legs. Outside the mirror. Sakura screamed in horror as she watched her beloved Sasuke fall to the ground, pierced by needles. Oh, that's got to hurt. Tazuna turned his head to see the blonde-hair ninja leaning against the rail. Sakura turned her head to see Naruto. Naruto, you're here, thank God. Go in there and save Sasuke. She pointed her hand in there and hope was written across her face, hoping that Naruto would save him. Naruto laughed. No. Sakura's face turned from shocked to angry. Why not? Go in there and save him. Naruto laughed again. I'm just a traitor. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill him? Sakura was surprised by his response. She didn't know how to answer. Please, I'm begging you. She said it in a low whisper. She fell on her knees. Tears started pouring down her cheeks. She was torn between trusting Naruto and saving the boy she liked. Tazuna looked at the girl. She was on her knees crying, begging the boy to go save the other boy, but they were at fault here. They accused him of being a traitor to their group, but the damage was done. He felt his heart shatter when she broke into tears. Naruto. Naruto turned his focus to the bridge builder. The way you're acting now makes you no different from Gato. If you have the power to do something, do it. Naruto frowned at the man. Don't go and talk to me like you know my life. Naruto looked at the crying Sakura. The pain that he felt inside his heart was telling him not to save Sasuke, but his gut instinct was telling him otherwise. It was true that they accused him of being a traitor, but they were his teammates. Friends, perhaps. He sighed. This was why he did not want to be in a team. Fine, Pinky. Sakura heard his answer. She looked up and saw the blonde boy dashing off. Back in the mirror. Haku watched the boy from afar. Your eyes are impressive, but it's too late for you. He reached back and threw another barrage of sunbon needles at Sasuke. Sasuke closed his eyes, waiting for his death. I didn't even get to kill him. Sasuke waited for the impact to hit him but found that nothing happened. He opened his eyes to see Naruto standing in front of him. He felt the calm aura that was radiating from the boy. What are you doing here, Dobe? I was handling this just fine. Sasuke glared at the boy's back. Naruto took a step forward, trying to sense something. Ungrateful team. A simple thank you would have been fine. Just sit back and let a real ninja handle this. Naruto shifted his eyes around to find Haku. Haku, why don't you leave the Uchiha out of this and we'll finish this once and for all? Naruto was on high alert. He hated Haku's mirrors. He is a threat to Zabuza and I can't allow that. Haku flung some needles at Naruto. He heard the needles coming and jumped away. He saw Haku appearing above him and twisted in mid-air to avoid some more needles. Meanwhile on the ground, Sasuke was narrowly avoiding the needles. No thanks to Naruto. As he watched Naruto fighting, he felt helpless. For the second time in his life, he struggled back up on his feet. No more. From this point on, I'm going to become stronger. His eyes filled with determination. He was going to help Naruto out, even if it killed him. Dope move. Naruto saw the hand seals that Sasuke was doing and moved. Ketan. Gokakyu no Jutsu, a huge fireball shot towards Haku as he was changing mirrors. He noticed that his outfit was burnt at the end. I can see it, Naruto. If you can distract him, I'll hit him. Naruto chuckled. Don't hit me then. The boys looked at each other, nodded as if they were exchanging approvals before attacking. Naruto performed some Kage Bushins and charged while Sasuke hung back, watching for any sudden movements. Naruto ran forward and tried to destroy the mirrors. As Naruto approached the mirrors, a shower of sunbon needles came flying at the clones, dispelling them. Naruto smirked as he ducked under and saw Haku dodging another fireball. This time it was getting closer and closer. Haku was never the one to focus on multiple enemies. He liked his fights one-on-one. Naruto jumped back and stood next to Sasuke. Can you keep it up? Sasuke smirked at him. I'll last longer than you. Naruto laughed before performing some more Kage Bushins. Bring it on, team. Naruto rushed off, moving in random sequences to throw Haku off his aim. Sasuke noticed that whenever Haku was about to strike, he would lean out towards the mirror for much greater speed. Naruto, above you. Naruto looked up to see Haku about to throw his needles. He forced some chakra on his knees and jumped. Haku looked surprised when he saw Naruto flying towards him. He couldn't dodge in time, so he took the hit while dragging Naruto down with him as well. Before Haku fell, he saw Sasuke leaving himself wide open. Haku head-butted Naruto, throwing the blonde away and threw some senbon needles at the unexpected boy. Naruto arched his head back and saw Haku's hand movements. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw who Haku was targeting. Move it, Uchiha! The warning came too late when the needles struck him through his body. Naruto ran towards Sasuke, catching him before he hit the ground. He held him up, trying to see the extent of the damage. Naruto had a look of concern on his face. Stupid idiot, if you only moved. Sasuke looked up at Naruto. Hedobe, a sad smile doesn't suit you. Sasuke coughed before continuing. Kill Itachi for me, will you? Naruto held his hand. Don't worry, Itachi is as good as dead. Sasuke felt his energy leaving him and his hand dropped to the ground. Naruto trembled, laying Sasuke on the floor. You went too far this time, Haku. Haku stood at a good distance away from Naruto. I thought you said you wouldn't care if I killed them. What happened now? Naruto stood up. He was staring at Sasuke's lifeless body. He recalled the times they gotten into arguments, fights, and glaring contests. He would even admit to Sasuke that they even had a brotherly rivalry going on. The bond they had was now broken. Naruto glared straight at Haku. I know what I said, and I was wrong. Haku removed his broken mask, angry eyes staring back at Naruto. You're just a hypocrite, you know that, Naruto? Haku charged straight at Naruto, catching him off guard. Haku threw a hard left to Naruto's jaw, sending him crashing through the mirror. Naruto coughed up some blood. Everyone has their reasons and I have mine, Haku. Haku appeared in front of Naruto and kneed him in the face, before picking him up by the collar. Look me in the eyes and tell me you didn't choose them over us. Naruto looked Haku in the eye. People change, Haku, you should know that. Naruto brought his head down and head-butted Haku. He staggered back, but it was enough room for Naruto to rush towards the boy. Naruto pulled his fist back before throwing it straight at Haku. Haku felt the fist hitting him square in the jaw. He flew towards the battle that Zabuza and Kakashi was having. Kakashi sensed something coming and jumped away. Zabuza saw Haku flying towards him and caught him by his shirt. Naruto appeared beside his sensei. Hello, Zabuza. Zabuza sneered at the boy. I'm going to have your head today, boy. Kakashi looked over at Naruto. He noticed the wounds and blood over his clothes. Where is Sasuke? Naruto dropped his head, but his eyes not leaving Zabuza. He's dead. Kakashi's eyes widened. He heard a scream over the mist. It seemed like Sakura found Sasuke's body. Naruto shook the thoughts out of his head. He turned his gaze at the two in front of him. Zabuza started laughing at the sight. Those eyes, those are the eyes that I want to kill. You're finally back, Naruto. He held the Kubikiri Hocho with his right hand. Grinning, Haku wiped the blood off his face. He held out a pair of senbon needles. Let's settle this once and for all. Naruto pulled out a scroll and a sword popped out. He unsheathed the tenro before slipping into a stance. Let's. Naruto charged in against the two while Kakashi stood there, watching the battle between them commence. A chilling wind swept through the area, blowing away the mist that once covered the battlefield. It was no longer the natural gray floor of the bridge. It was transformed into something more. Blood was splattered all over the bridge, and a dead body could be seen from the inside of what remains of an ice dome. Sad cries from a girl could be heard from miles away, mourning the fallen, and above all else, you could hear battle cries still raging on. Kakashi looked at his student. He noticed the change in his eyes. His icy blue eyes were now replaced with red slit pupils. Definitely not a good sign. Naruto held the tenro firmly in his hands, calmly waiting for his opponents to move. Zabuza started laughing. Those eyes, those are the eyes that I waited so long for. Zabuza swung his sword towards Naruto. Kakashi sprang forward, kunai in his hand, trying to stop the Kubikiri Hocho from beheading his student. Oh my god, please let me make it. Kakashi kept going until he saw that he wasn't going to make it. Lucky for him, the blade stopped just inches away from Naruto's neck. He didn't even notice the breath that he was holding until he released it. Zabuza looked at Naruto, who was calmly standing there. Last time I did that, you nearly wet your pants. Naruto retorted. Last time we met, I could have killed you. Zabuza growled at him and was about to lunge forward when Haku stepped forward. Naruto, we can still stop this meaningless battle. He was about to continue when he was knocked back by Zabuza. Silence, Haku. Don't interfere in something that does not concern you. I have been waiting for this battle for a long time. Before Haku could reply, Naruto spoke up in a monotone voice. This battle cannot be avoided. You of all people should have known this. Haku sighed. He knew this day was coming. It was destined ever since they first met 2 years ago. Flashback. 3 years ago. Zabuza-san, we must flee now. Haku looked behind him. He saw 5 Hunter-nins currently chasing after them. They were running after a failed assassination attempt. Someone from the inside had tipped the enemy off. They engaged in a battle they thought they could win, but it proved futile. Zabuza looked at his arms. They were already in bad shape. Blood dripping from the wounds and his chakra rapidly depleting. Haku was faring no better. He had no more chakra left to take care of the Hunter-nins. They stopped suddenly when a giant wall of mud appeared in front of them. Momochi Zabuza, you are hereby ordered to stop and pay for the crimes that you have committed. Zabuza turned around. He saw the Hunter-nins already behind him. He cursed his damn luck. First, a failed assassination, and now he had to deal with these ninjas. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I can't let you guys do that. A mysterious voice echoed throughout the trees. The Hunter-nins looked around, searching for the voice. The ninjas turned around to see that it was a boy with blonde spiky hair, standing behind them, but it wasn't the last thing they saw. The boy smiled at them before whispering something. Shiranui Ryu, Satsujin Ken Suzaku. The group saw a bright image of a red phoenix as it flew past them before falling to the ground. Naruto looked at his sword and sighed. Useless Hunter-nins. He saw the crack on his sword before throwing it away. Useless sword. They don't make them like they used to anymore. Zabuza stared at the boy. The boy looked no older than 9 years old, and he single-handedly defeated a group of experienced ninjas. He had his guard up. It could be an enemy in disguise. Whoever you are, I didn't ask for your help. Naruto turned his head at Zabuza before speaking. You know, your head is worth about 600,000 yen Ryo. I could kill you right here for the money. Naruto took a step forward with a smile on his face. Zabuza noticed the boy's features. He had whisker markings on his cheeks, and the most noticeable feature was his red eyes. Haku rushed in front of Zabuza, holding senbon needles in each hand, preparing to defend Zabuza from the incoming threat. First you guys tried to assassinate Araki Nichin, and then you run like cowards. Naruto took another step closer. Haku gripped his needles a bit tighter, feeling nervous as the boy approached closer. When you try to hurt one of my precious people, you will deal with me. Naruto released his killing intent. Zabuza felt like a little boy surrounded by wolves, and death was surely to be upon him. Haku couldn't stop shaking. He had never experienced this kind of killing intent, and it was full of evil and malice. Naruto began forming hand seals at a rapid rate and chakra began to build up. Zabuza felt his heart rate rising. For the first time, he actually feared for his life. He was trying to think of a way out, trying to find something that he can barter with the boy. He noticed the sword lying on the ground. "Stop, boy. Spare us and I'll do something for you." Naruto stopped advancing and laughed. "Didn't you know that dead men can't tell any tales, Zabuza?" Zabuza looked at the boy. If he wasn't going to die this moment, he would have liked the boy. There was something about this boy that makes him stand out from the rest. "You heard of my name, but do you know who I really am?" Naruto gave him a bored look. "Does it really matter?" Zabuza gritted his teeth. This boy was so arrogant. "Let us go for now, and in return, I promise to teach you some kenjutsu." Haku gave Zabuza a weird look but kept quiet. Naruto thought about this proposal. It has been a long time since he had another teacher other than Gensai, and he had heard of the Kiri no Shinobigatana Nananin Shu. They were supposedly the best swordsmen in the world. He nodded his head. "Okay, but know this. Once we're done, I'll kill you, Zabuza. I promise you." Naruto turned around to take his leave but stopped. "Be ready in 2 days. I will find you myself for lessons." Zabuza fell to the ground, feeling relieved. His life has been spared and now, all he had to do was train himself and the boy, hoping to get a challenge one day in the future. Haku let out a sigh of relief. Maybe this was a chance to meet a new friend. Flashback end. Naruto stared at his old sensei. Over the years, he hasn't changed much. Still not wearing a shirt and still putting bandages over his mouth. Zabuza smirked. "You're mine." He blurred out of sight, surprising everyone. Naruto felt vibrations all around him, like he was caught in a vortex. His speed. I can't see his movements. He felt something cold cutting his cheek. Naruto ignored it while he kept his focus on finding Zabuza. He felt something warm dripping down his cheek and wasn't surprised to find that it was blood. Naruto heard sounds of laughter echoing throughout the area before he felt something sharp cutting him from all directions. He quickly fell down to his knees, one hand clutching onto his sword. The pain from the wounds was taking their toll on Naruto. He slowly felt his energy leaving him. Naruto looked up and he could still feel Zabuza surrounding him. "You have gotten better, Zabuza. I'll give you that." Naruto stopped in mid-sentence to let out a scream of pain as Zabuza slashed his back. Zabuza reappeared in front of Naruto. "Did you have enough?" Naruto looked up and gave him a smirk. "The fun's only beginning." Naruto vanished in front of the missing Nin. Zabuza went into shock when he couldn't track the blonde's speed. Zabuza looked around. "He's even faster than me." He caught sight of a silver material and reacted on instinct, raising his own sword to block. He felt himself being pushed back by the blonde's attack. "Is this all you got, Zabuza?" Naruto smirked, looking into the ninja's eyes. Zabuza growled and with superhuman effort, he pushed the boy back, causing Naruto to frown. Zabuza strapped the sword on his back before performing some hand seals. Kirigakur no Jutsu. Mist once again started coming in from all directions. Zabuza smiled to himself. There is no way he can best me at silent killing. Naruto stared at the fog, keeping his senses at high alert. There has to be some way to remove the... That's it. Naruto strapped his own sword on his back before calmly looking around. You're always using the same tricks, Zabuza. Please allow me to introduce to you one of my own original techniques. Naruto started flipping through hand seals and took a deep breath. Futon. He held up his final seal and whispered the name, Tsujike's no Jutsu. Great winds came in from all directions, cutting through the mist and erecting a barrier around Naruto. Naruto closed his fists and pulled his arms towards his chest, which caused the winds to react to Naruto's movements. As Naruto pulled his arms towards him, the winds pulled themselves closer to his body until it formed a sphere around him. Naruto looked around for a second before releasing the jutsu. Winds exploded from Naruto, leaving him at high speeds and rushing out in every direction. The mist stood no chance as the winds sliced through the mist and carrying it out of the vicinity. Kakashi dropped his jaw at the new technique. It was something that he couldn't even do. He shook his head in disbelief. Naruto, the #1 mystery. At the rate you're going, you might even surpass your father. Haku, on the other hand, wasn't looking at Naruto but was looking past him. Naruto turned around in time to block a swing from Zabuza. He smirked as he saw the condition that Zabuza was in now. The demon of the mist had wounds all over his body and blood covered his chest and arms. That must have stung, didn't it, Zabuza? Zabuza sneered at the blonde. He thought the boy would use some kind of wind technique to clear the mist away, but to turn the winds into a giant whirlwind and making them as sharp as knives caught him off guard. Zabuza looked at the boy. The previous wounds that he had dealt to the boy had now disappeared. Naruto caught Zabuza staring at his already healed wounds. He whispered to him in a low voice, "Your title of Demon of the Mist is nothing compared to what I am." Zabuza's eyes widened as he saw another Naruto jumping behind him, flipping through some hand seals. Katan. Gokakyu no Jutsu. Naruto frowned when he saw the Zabuza in front of him disappear into water. Mizu Bushin? Then that means… He turned around to see Zabuza charging towards him. As Naruto prepared himself to leap, he found himself unable to jump. He looked down to see his legs frozen in its place. When did he? His eyes widened when he realized that the water from that Mizubushin gave Haku the chance to freeze it. Naruto growled. Now he was stuck and he couldn't get into a proper defense stance. Kakashi saw Naruto having trouble and ran towards his student. He sensed something coming towards him and jumped away in time to avoid the senbon needles from piercing his legs. Haku appeared in front of the older ninja. "I can't allow you to interfere with Zabuza-san's fight." Kakashi took out a kunai and swung at the boy. "Get out of my way. I won't let my student die here." Haku dodged and leaped away. "Will you please stop interfering? I don't want to kill you." Kakashi gritted his teeth. The boy was getting annoying. He was standing between him and Naruto. "Move or I will go through you." When the boy didn't move, Kakashi charged forward, hoping the boy wouldn't do anything stupid. When he saw the boy didn't move, he raised his fist and threw a punch towards Haku. Haku saw the fist coming towards him in slow motion. He stopped the punch with his senbon needles. Kakashi was surprised when he saw his punch being stopped by pieces of metal. Just who is this boy? Kakashi jumped over the boy and performed a roundhouse kick aimed for his head. Haku ducked under and rolled away. As he got back on his feet, he quickly threw some needles towards Kakashi before leaping up. Kakashi quickly deflected the attack from the boy and saw Haku in midair. He saw this as an opportunity to knock the boy out without wasting any more chakra. As Kakashi prepared himself to perform a jutsu, he was stopped short when more needles came flying towards him. Kakashi jumped up, only to meet Haku halfway up. As Haku was coming down, he whispered to Kakashi, "You should have taken my warning, Kakashi-san. I don't want to kill someone who is precious to Naruto." Kakashi saw the boy performing hand seals with one hand. He's doing it one-handed. Unbelievable. Haku finished his jutsu and aimed it towards Kakashi. Sensatsu Suisho no Jutsu. Thousands of ice needles came flying towards Kakashi. Kakashi narrowed his eyes before going through his own hand seals to counter it. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Kakashi produced a giant fireball that met the attack head-on. The collision between the fire and ice resulted with the birth of steam. Both ninjas landed on the ground, each waiting for the other to move. Kakashi, wasting no time, took the initiative. He pulled out a scroll and wiped some blood over it before slamming it to the ground. Kakashi concentrated some chakra and shouted, "Kuchios no Jutsu." Haku felt chakra being released, but he saw nothing coming out from the scroll. Just as Haku stepped forward, several dogs of all sizes popped up from the ground and tackled him, each of them biting him on the limbs, leaving him immobilized. Kakashi got back up and looked at the boy. "It's over." Naruto mentally cursed the day Haku learned how to freeze water. He had his legs frozen to the ground, which left him almost defenseless. Zabuza saw that Naruto was defenseless and continued to pummel him. Naruto tried to fight back, but with his legs stuck in one place, he couldn't maintain his balance to throw an equally powerful strike back. Zabuza wasn't giving him enough time to remove the ice, and if he forcefully removed the ice, it would rip off a piece of him as well. Damn that Kekkei Genkai of Haku's. Guess it's time to show him how much I've improved. Naruto saw Zabuza with a sadistic smile under his bandages as he prepared the final strike. It's over. He swung the sword towards Naruto's head as Kakashi and Haku stood there as it came closer and closer. Naruto closed his eyes and prepared for it. As the sword came closer and moved faster, Kakashi screamed at Naruto to open his eyes. As the sword came even closer, Naruto raised his hand and caught the sword. Zabuza frowned and continued to push, but it wouldn't budge. Naruto opened his eyes. Yes, it's over. Chakra soon exploded from Naruto, blasting Zabuza away if he wasn't holding on to his sword. He tried yanking the sword out from Naruto, but the boy wouldn't let go. The chakra didn't slow down and it began to release faster. Zabuza had no choice but to jump away for his own safety. Exposure to chakra from that close wasn't good for his health. Naruto looked at Zabuza and grinned. You wanted me at my best? Well, you got it. Naruto slammed the Kubikiri Hocho into the ground and held his hands together, forming the boar seal. Biju Haushitsu, Level 1. Kakashi felt the huge chakra signature being released and stared at Naruto. Is the seal broken? This isn't good. If the seal broke, they would have more than a couple of missing nines on their hands. Kakashi needed to finish this fight and go help contain Naruto if worse came to worst. You gave me a great fight, Haku, but I must finish this. Kakashi performed 3 hand seals and concentrated chakra to his hand. Haku stared at the ninja as visible chakra began to form around his hand. I'm sorry, Zabuza-san, that I couldn't help you achieve your dream, Haku whispered quietly into the wind. Kakashi looked up at the boy. It was a pity. He was so young and yet so talented. He felt that he needed to say something to the boy. My name is Hatake Kakashi, and this is my original technique, the Chidori. It was an honor to do battle with you. As he ran towards the boy, Haku closed his eyes and waited for death to claim his soul. Naruto stretched his arms and looked around. He could feel the chakra circulating through his body once more. Naruto sensed a huge amount of chakra coming from Kakashi and saw that he had some kind of technique going on and was charging straight at Haku. Wasting no time, Naruto shunshin from his area and in front of Haku. Kakashi was in for a shock when he saw Naruto standing in front of Haku. He couldn't stop himself in time and he tried to move his arm someplace else, but he couldn't. Kakashi was even more surprised when he saw Naruto stopping his attack with just one hand. He caught Kakashi by the wrist and pushed him back, away from Haku. Kakashi released the Chidori as he glared at Naruto. What do you think you're doing, Naruto? Fulfilling a promise, Naruto answered back. Kakashi felt the calm aura emitting from Naruto. Naruto waved his arm over the dogs that held Haku down and they disappeared. Haku, my debt to you is now repaid. Haku looked up at the younger boy. You still don't get it, do you? Haku shook his head sadly. Why are you so afraid of letting people form bonds with you, Naruto? It is these types of bonds that will only make you stronger, not weaker. Don't be afraid to embrace them. Naruto sighed. Maybe it was time for a change. Naruto didn't have time to think when he saw Zabuza charging straight for him. Haku saw Zabuza charge away with Naruto. Stop, Zabuza-san. We don't have to fight anymore. Kakashi put a hand on the boy's shoulder. It's useless. Zabuza has lost all reasoning. All we can do now is believe in Naruto and hope he can bring peace to Zabuza. Naruto struggled to get out of Zabuza's grasp. Let go of me. Zabuza paid no attention to the blonde and continued to drag the boy into the ground. When Naruto saw that he couldn't get out, he dug his heels deep into the ground and tried to stop. Zabuza found himself slowing down and soon was unable to budge against the boy. Stop running and fight me. I waited for this day for a long time. Zabuza tried to slash Naruto but failed when Naruto quickly removed the tenro from his back and countered with his own slash. Naruto found himself in a lock of brute power between the missing nin. He looked into the eyes of the former swordsman. You were not the man I once respected, Zabuza. You've become something that you yourself swore that you would never become. You're becoming just like that Mizukage Zabuza. I can't let you be like him. I will kill you before you do. Leave this world with no regrets. Naruto pushed the sword away and landed a kick flip on Zabuza before charging in. Naruto gripped his sword tightly and executed his technique. Shiranui Ryu, Karayami Tsukakeru. It's not over yet. Zabuza managed to block the attack with his own sword, each side struggling for dominance but stopped at a stalemate. Zabuza saw a slip in the boy's stance and decided to gamble everything on the last push. I have you now. Zabuza pushed in and slashed the sword away from Naruto's hands. Naruto saw his sword slip out from his hands and the Kubikiri Hocho inches away from his neck. Naruto placed his hands on both sides of the sword and smiled. Game over. Zabuza's eyes widened as blue balls of swirling chakra appeared from both of Naruto's palm. He calmly placed both of his hands over the sword. As Naruto pushed his hands which contained the balls of chakra into the sword, He whispered the name of the famed technique. Rasengan. As the jutsu came closer and closer to the sword, everyone stood there watching to see what was going to happen. Zabuza had the honor of watching his precious sword, in the process of being turned into many pieces of scrap metal. As the Rasengans finally came on contact with the sword, Zabuza's eyes widened as the explosion happened in front of his eyes. When the dust cleared, Naruto stood above a fallen Zabuza, clutching his sides and breathing slowly. "This match goes to me, you stubborn fool." Kakashi and Haku walked over to Naruto slowly, looking at the damage caused from that attack. To everyone's surprise, the sword was split in half, not into many pieces. The bridge was not in great condition anymore. It looked more of a battlefield. Haku walked over to Zabuza, trying to see if he was dead or alive. Naruto saw the worried look on Haku's face. "Don't worry, I didn't kill him." Haku sighed with relief. Zabuza was just unconscious. Kakashi looked at Naruto. "Aren't you going to explain yourself?" Naruto retorted a laugh. In due time, the group heard a voice call out to them. "Oi guys!" They turned their heads to see Tazuna walking slowly towards them, carrying Sasuke in his arms and Sakura walking slowly behind him. Kakashi hung his head down with regret. He had failed to protect his team. As Tazuna dropped Sasuke next to Zabuza, Sakura looked at Naruto and saw his eyes. They were no longer blue but now a red color. "You promised you would have saved him." Naruto looked at Sakura. "I know but dash." Naruto never got to finish that sentence as Sakura slapped him. "How could you? Why couldn't you have died instead of him?" Sakura raised her hand to slap him again and Naruto stood there, waiting for it to come but it never did. Haku intercepted her hand and threw her to the ground. "Naruto, why are you letting her abuse you like this?" The Naruto I knew wouldn't take abuse from anyone. Naruto walked away, letting his thoughts be his only company. As Naruto walked a couple of steps, he saw a crowd of people coming towards them. As they got closer, Naruto stood there, wondering who they were. "So the mighty demon of the mist got beaten, huh?" The man laughed and the rest of his men followed his example. "At least now I won't have to pay him." The man laughed again. Tazuna, realizing who that man was, stepped back and fell down in fear. "Gatu." Naruto looked at the small man. "So that's the mighty Gatu." Haku stared at the short man, eyes portraying his anger. "How dare you make fun of Zabuza-san like that?" Haku charged straight at the man but he was knocked back by Naruto. "Leave this man to me." Haku slowly nodded, wondering how Naruto was able to move from that side of the bridge to this side in a short amount of time. Naruto walked closer to the man. "So you're the infamous Gatu." Gatu's men raised their weapons to defend their boss. Gatu raised his hand, signaling his men to lower their weapons. "So you heard of me? Who are you, boy?" Naruto smiled. "You may have heard of me. I'm Naruto Uzumaki of the Denku clan." Gata's eyes widened. The Denku clan was famous for their reputation of having strong clan members. Maybe he could hire this boy as well. "I heard of your clan, boy. How about you come work for me? I'll reward you with riches beyond your dreams." Naruto thought about it for a minute. Sure, why not? Everyone's eyes widened when they heard Naruto siding with the enemy. Gatu only laughed. "Great. For your first job, kill them all." He pointed straight at the group of ninjas. Naruto grinned. With pleasure. He performed some hand seals and shouted, "Kagebushin no Jutsu." 20 Narutos appeared next to him. Kakashi groaned. "Everyone get ready." He raised his kunai. He knew it himself, the gods even knew it themselves. He can't beat Naruto in this condition. Haku struggled to summon some chakra but was unable to. Sakura found herself shaking and Tazuna had his mouth opened, wondering how this happened. The army of Narutos began charging towards them but soon stopped. Gata frowned. "Why the hell did you stop? I said kill them." Naruto turned around, dismissing his clones. Gatu, head of a major shipping company and current mafia boss of this town. Gatu started backing away as Naruto walked towards the man. Gatu, the man responsible for hiring people to take out Araki Tenjin a couple of years back. Gatu began to sweat. "Who is this boy? I spent years covering up my tracks. Someone must have talked." Naruto continued on with this analysis of the man. "I finally found out who hired Zabuza and Haku for that assassination. You're a slippery worm, you know that? You killed so many people just to cover your own trail. He stopped short in front of the man, hands by his side. Gatu realized that the boy was going to attack him. He wasn't going to die today. Hell no, he made it this far and he wasn't going to die to some young punk. Kill the boy and I'll pay you guys tripled, he shouted to his army. He smiled, he'd like to see the boy get out of this one. A chorus of yars echoed throughout the men and they began to charge. Kakashi walked towards Naruto. Looks like you need some help. Naruto shook his head. Just stay back. Kakashi was about to object but remained quiet. He figured that he can always jump in if the situation got out of hand. Naruto walked casually towards the army. As the thugs reached Naruto, they aimed their weapons towards the boy, but to everyone's surprise, he vanished, like a ghost in mist. Kakashi looked around for the boy. It wasn't a bushin that Naruto used. It was pure speed. Suddenly blood sprayed into the air. Bodies began dropping one by one until no one was left. Naruto stood in front of Gatu, holding the Tenro by his side, grinning at him like a madman. How does it feel to know that you can't buy your way out of this? Naruto approached slowly, like a beast stalking his prey. Gatu, in panic, tried to move back but tripped over his own feet. He backed away from the boy slowly. Stop. If you let me live, I'll give you enough money that your grandchildren can live leisurely until they grow old. Naruto started laughing. Money is no good to me. I already have enough. Naruto crouched down in front of the man. What else can you offer? Gatu was about to start offering the boy different things but stopped when he suddenly lost feeling in his legs and then pain shot up through his nerves and registered themselves in his mind. His legs, he couldn't feel his legs anymore. His eyes widened when he saw himself missing a pair of legs. He let out a bone-chilling scream of agony. Naruto grinned at the man as he heard the former crime lord beg for mercy. Everyone else flinched at how brutally Naruto severed the man's legs. Even Kakashi looked away. Naruto stood back up. I made a promise to someone in this village, to undo the very things that you have done. You're a corrupted pig who uses people and then discards them. It is people like you that I despise, people that have no respect for others. Say hello to his father for me in the afterlife. With a quick swipe, Gatu's head rolled off his body. Sakura witnessed the entire thing through her eyes. She felt sick and wanted to vomit. She saw Naruto, someone who was her age, kill people so easily. She turned away from him as he walked by her. Naruto walked back with Gatu's head and handed it to Kakashi, who sealed it into a scroll. Are you going to be okay, Naruto? Naruto nodded his head and performed the familiar hand seals. Biju Haushitsu, Heikai. Naruto collapsed to the ground. All he saw before blacking out was a group of villagers coming towards the bridge with weapons. Kakashi walked over to his fallen students. One was presumed dead and one was presumed unconscious with a silly grin on his face. He sighed. The Hokage will probably have his head for this. Haku walked up to the fallen Uchiha. Kakashi looked at him cautiously. Haku gave him a reassuring look. Don't worry, Kakashi-san. I'm here to help. Haku looked at Sasuke, who was lying on the ground with needles through his body. Haku examined each needle before pulling the needles between his shoulders. Sasuke suddenly jerked up, grasping for air and then falling back down. Kakashi couldn't repress a sigh of relief when he saw Sasuke coming back to life. I thought you knew me better, Naruto. Haku's voice echoed through his head. So that's what he meant when he told Naruto. I should have seen it coming when he put Zabuza through a death-like trance. Sakura, who was once filled with sadness and grief, was replaced with tears of happiness, ran towards the revived boy, hugging him tightly. Oh, Sasuke-kun, I thought I lost you. Sasuke opened his eyes slowly and saw that it was Sakura hugging him. He gave her a weak glare. Sakura, where's Naruto? Sakura looked up into his eyes. Oh, Sasuke-kun, why do you care about someone like that? He's nothing compared to you. Sasuke tried to push her off him but found his body to be too weak. Don't stress yourself too much, Uchiha-san. Sasuke turned his head to see where the voice came from. When he saw Haku, he tried to reach for his weapon. Haku saw what Sasuke was looking for. Don't worry, we're not your enemy anymore. He reassured the boy. While people were being introduced over there, Tazuna looked around and saw his grandson in a homemade battle outfit. He quickly ran up to the boy. What are you doing here? Inari looked around at the bridge. Dead bodies filled the area, and when he saw his grandfather, he dropped his crossbow and hugged the man. Oi, Jizen, you're okay. Inari looked up at his grandfather with watery eyes. Tazuna smiled. Yes, Naruto saved us all. Who would have believed it? Tazuna walked over with Inari beside him. Inari saw their savior on the ground, sleeping calmly. I believed in him. Tazuna gave him a weird look. Why? Didn't he threaten to kill you? He figured something must have gone loose inside the boy's head. Inari shook his head. Yes, but he saved me and Kazan from Gatu's thugs before he came rushing over here. Really now? Kakashi walked over to the boy. After Inari told everyone about how Naruto single-handedly took care of Gatu's thugs, everyone had a different opinion about the boy. Some began to respect the boy and some began to judge him differently. Sasuke, on the other hand, was in deep thought. One of these days, Naruto, I will surpass you and it will be one step closer to him. Sakura slowly held Sasuke up, letting him use her as a support, feeling glad that he was alive. Everyone looked towards the bridge. This was one memory that will be forever remembered. 2 days later, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. He slowly sat up. Every inch of his body was sore. He took a quick look around the room and figured that he was back in Tazuna's house. He recalled the first time he was in this room and laughed to himself. He wasn't going to make that mistake again. He walked slowly over to the window and sat by the edge, just admiring the view. His peacefulness was soon interrupted when Kakashi walked into the room. Kakashi had his hitai over his left eye once again. Oh Naruto, you're awake. So how are you feeling? Kakashi stepped into the room and closed the door behind him. Naruto shrugged. As good as I can be, I guess. Kakashi looked over the boy. He suffered from chakra depletion and had wounds over his body. He should have been out for at least a week, but this was Naruto, the boy who held the Kyuubi no Yoko, the king of all demons. I know you're here for something more than to check up on me, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto's statement snapped him out of his own world. Kakashi pointed to Naruto's stomach. Yes, I wanted to know if the seal is weakening. We wouldn't want that to happen now, would we? Naruto retorted the answer back sarcastically. Naruto. Kakashi shook his head slowly. The boy was changing slowly, but only time will heal his scars. What was that technique that you used earlier, Naruto? Naruto looked at the man slowly before answering. It was something that Ero Sennin came up with. Flashback. Nay, Ero Sennin. Naruto dropped down to the ground, exhausted from the day's spar. Jiraiya smacked his apprentice across the head. Baka, I told you not to call me that. So what is it? Naruto glared at his sensei before rubbing his head. How do I stop myself from drawing on the fox's chakra? Jiraiya thought about this. There were several ways of stopping the chakra, but why would Naruto want to seal it off? Why do you want to do that, Naruto? The extra chakra makes you stronger and better than most people. Naruto sighed. They don't see me as a person. They see me as Kyuubi reborn, like a ticking time bomb who's just waiting to explode. If I'm going to make people change on how they look at me, it will be done my way, not with any help from the fox. I won't let the villagers get the satisfaction of knowing that I had help from the fox. It would give them more of a reason to beat me. Jiraiya nodded his head. This boy was strong. Far stronger than any person he has ever known besides the fourth. No wonder they were father and son. Okay, Naruto, let's prove them wrong. I have been working on a seal that would hinder the fox's chakra, but it won't completely stop it. The fourth was a great seal master, after myself of course. Jiraiya stood proudly, until Naruto stuck his legs between Jiraiya's and tripped him. Naruto gave him an innocent look. Please continue on. Jiraiya got back up and mumbled some silent threats to Naruto before continuing. He used the Shiki Fujin to seal away the fox, but it was the later seals that actually kept the fox inside of you. The Shursho Fuin and the Hak no Fuin Shiki was placed on your stomach because that is where the fox resides. The seal was designed to slowly merge both of your chakras together until the fox disappears. Now my seal is a bit different. It won't be placed on top of that, it will be placed on your chest. What this seal will do to you is that it will place binds on your chakra system. You already have a huge amount of chakra at your disposal, but this seal will limit you on how much chakra you have access to. Level 1 would be 25%, Level 2 will be 50%, Level 3 will be 75%, while Level 4 will be 100%. There's a side effect to this though. If you open all of these at once, there is a chance that you will explode from the inside. What? Naruto yelled into Jiraiya's ear. Jiraiya threw Naruto away from him and rubbed his ear. Jiraiya was momentarily deaf before his senses returned to normal. My ears are bleeding, damn Gaki. Think about it this way, your chakra reserves is like a dam of water. It supplies your body with a constant flow of chakra, but if that dam breaks, then it would be rushing out like a flood. Your body can't take that much chakra at once. Naruto nodded his head slowly. Okay, I get it, open all the seals at once equals bad. I got it. Jiraiya rubbed his temples. If you allow time to pass between opening gates, then you should be fine. Do you really want this seal? Naruto nodded his head. It means that I can do more training. Jiraiya laughed. You'll need all the training you can get if you want to beat me, Gaki. Naruto pumped his fist at Jiraiya. Shut up, Ero Sennin. Just put the seal on me already. Jiraiya put his hand to his chin for a minute. Let's call it the Great Jiraiya Seal. Naruto tripped his sensei again. No, let's call it Biju Haushatsu. Jiraiya thought about it for a minute. Demon Release. Not a bad name. Can frighten people when you scream it, especially with your voice. Okay, we're gonna call it Biju Haushatsu. Flashback end. I see, so that's what the technique does. What an ingenious technique. Kakashi smiled behind his mask. He was proud of how far Naruto has gotten. That was some fight you gave me, Gaki. I'm impressed. They turned around to the new voices. Haku and Zabuza walked into the room. Yo, brat. Zabuza waved. How are you feeling? Naruto shrugged. As good as I can be. Naruto rotated his arms and stretched. Where are you guys going to go now? Zabuza pointed his hands towards Kakashi. Naruto looked to the other ninja. Kakashi rubbed the back of his head. I kind of offered them a place in the village. Naruto started laughing. You'll definitely set those idiots we call villagers straight, Zabuza. How are you going to bring this up with the Hokage Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi again rubbed the back of his head. I was hoping you would do it. Naruto was about to yell something back but thought about it. Fine, but I expect you to pay for my ramen bill when we get back. He offered his hand out to seal the deal. Kakashi shook his hand. He figured that Naruto couldn't eat that much, so he didn't have much to lose. Zabuza and Haku suddenly burst out laughing. Zabuza placed his hand on Kakashi's shoulder and patted him. You have no clue what you just gotten yourself involved with. Kakashi wondered what the man was speaking about. Haku as well patted his arm. Naruto ran up a bill of about 50,000 when we were still training together. Kakashi dropped his jaw. 50,000 was just about how much he made in 2 months. He started weeping to himself. Zabuza turned his attention to Naruto. We'll duel again, but this time, we won't have to go that far. Naruto nodded his head. It was great to have his other sensei back. I understand now, Naruto. Haku nodded his head before leaving the room. Just as Haku stepped out, he bumped into Inari, who ran straight into Haku and bounced back. Haku laughed and helped the boy up. Naruto Naiken. Inari ran over and gave his new hero a hug. Naruto returned the smile. So, how are you doing, Inari? Inari released the hug and stepped back. I've been great. Grandfather says that the bridge should be done today. Naruto looked towards the window. He saw the bridge from a distance. It looks great, Inari. Your grandfather is a great bridge builder. Inari nodded before remembering something. Kazan is making dinner and was wondering if you were up or not. I have to tell her to make a lot. Inari quickly went to find his mother. Naruto wondered where the other two are, seeing as how they weren't in here to visit him. So how's the other two? Kakashi pointed to the next room. Sasuke's recovering slowly and Sakura's watching over him like a hawk. Hawk nothing. She's like a shark stalking her prey. Zabuza imitated a shark and did biting motions with his jaw. Naruto laughed. Same old idiots. Well, let's go down for some dinner. The men slowly exited the room for the last meal they would receive from Tsunami. Next day, as Team 7 walked towards the end of the bridge, they stopped and looked back. All the villagers were there to see them off. Come back and visit soon, Naruto Naiken. Inari yelled to his new hero. Naruto just waved back and began to walk away. The others saw Naruto walking away and began to follow his lead, one by one, each waving goodbye as they left. So what should we name this bridge? Tazuna turned around and asked the villagers. They pondered among themselves for a minute. Tazuna smiled. How about the Great Tadash? The Great Naruto Bridge. Inari shouted, interrupting his grandfather. He looked at his grandson with open eyes. What? Villagers soon began to whisper the name among themselves. They soon began chanting the name they selected. There, it's decided. We're calling it the Great Naruto Bridge. Tazuna glared at his grandson and sighed in defeat. He looked towards the sky. The Great Naruto Bridge, huh? It's a catchy name. In the forest, Naruto walked ahead with Zabuza and Haku, catching up on the years they have been apart. Kakashi was strolling behind them, reading the familiar orange color book, occasionally letting out a giggle. Sakura and Sasuke were walking behind Kakashi, whispering quietly among themselves. Sasuke-kun, do you think we can trust Zabuza and Haku? Sasuke looked at the two missing nines. Yeah, I think we can. They haven't done anything lately, but keep your guard up. Sakura nodded her head. What about Naruto then? Sasuke gritted his teeth. At this point, Naruto is seen as an enigma. We don't know much about his life except that he's stronger than your average genin. We have to be careful around him as well. Kakashi sighed to himself. He heard the entire conversation. Children these days, they refuse to look underneath the underneath. Partially it's our fault, but what done is done. Sakura then remembered a conversation that she had with her mother. Hey Sasuke-kun, I remembered something my mom told me. When I told her who was on my team, she started freaking out when I mentioned Naruto's name. She told me to stay away from that freak. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. Maybe it was time for him to check in with the Harunos. Sasuke thought about this for a minute. We don't know much about him, so let's keep our distance. She nodded her head. She saw the raw power that Naruto contains. He seemed almost inhuman on the battlefield. She still shudders when she thinks back to that moment. Kakashi paid no more attention to those two. He heard enough. He looked at Naruto. He was smiling casually while talking to the other two. He decided to join in the conversation. So Zabuza, what do you plan on doing when you get instated as a Konoha? Zabuza grinned. That's easy. I'm going to beat this Gaki down until he begs for mercy. He pulled Naruto into a headlock. Naruto was taken by surprise and began to struggle. Get off me, old man. He tried to throw Zabuza off him, but Zabuza was struggling and Naruto couldn't get a grip. Fine then. You asked for it. Naruto jumped up and warped his legs around Zabuza and put his arms around his neck before pulling him down to the ground. As the two hit the ground, Naruto disappeared and Zabuza looked surprised. What the hell? When did you even switch out with me? Everyone looked surprised. They didn't even see Naruto use hand seals. Naruto appeared next to Haku. TCH, you're no match for me. Zabuza growled and ran after the boy. The duo ran all the way back to Konoha while throwing insults at each other. There are many different kinds of villages out there in this world. They range from great hidden villages to smaller, less developed ones, but they all share one thing in common. They produce teams that will benefit the village as a whole. The better the team, the better the reputation the village will have. Over the years, Konoha has produced many unique teams, all soaring to great heights. The legendary Sanins, the Inoshikacho team, and many others. This year, many people have their eyes set on Team 7, who they consider to be the next generation of prodigies, each member contributing his or her own talent to the team. They were led by one of the most renowned names in ninja history, Hatake Kakashi, also known as Copy Ninja Kakashi. He ventured deep into the mist with a group of genin that was fresh out of the academy, but when they came back with something more than a completed mission under their belts. They came back with valuable experience that they couldn't learn in nether scrolls nor in classrooms. Every ninja grows from experience, learning and developing themselves so they can reach their full potential. Each member of Team 7 gained something that day. Sasuke Uchiha, the surviving member of the infamous Uchiha clan, received his rite of passage into manhood, the prized Sharingan Eye. It is said that the famous Kekkei Genkai was able to copy many jutsus with just one glance. The user would be able to recall and mimic those exact seals in future usage. The Sharingan was awakened during his fierce battle with the missing nin, Haku. Sakura Hirano figured out firsthand for herself that the life of a ninja is not all that glamorous and fun like she imagined it. The things that she witnessed that day have changed her perspective about the lives that ninjas have. The things she learned from her textbooks and from an actual battle was actually very different. Books shield children from the harshness of reality, but when you leave those books at home, it is when you truly experience the roughness that life has to offer. Not everything is always perfect in this world, and this was a valuable experience that she learned. Naruto Uzumaki, heir to the Denku clan, had learned that bonds were not always a bad thing. A bond is like a friendship between people. They are there to help a person grow and mature. He still didn't know why people kept bonds, but until he figures out that answer, he'll keep training until he is strong enough to achieve his dreams of being Hokage. It was just a few days after their first major battle, and everyone was feeling quite proud of themselves. Kakashi looked up from his book and admired his students. He was very proud of them. The actions that they demonstrated throughout this mission proved that he had indeed made the right choice in passing this team. Each of them had raw, untapped potential that can make them legends someday. Naruto and Sasuke, two boys, each having their own unique way of proving themselves to others. They were the two boys that caught the eyes of ninjas everywhere. Everyone can sense that they had a greater destiny calling than the other rookie genins. Kakashi could feel it in his bones. They were going to make him proud someday in the future. As they made their way to the gates of Konoha, Sakura let out a happy sigh followed up with a big smile on her face. "We're finally home, Sasuke-kun." She turned around and looked him in the eye. Sasuke looked up and saw her smile in front of his face. He let out a small grunt. Everyone laughed. They all knew he was glad to be back as well. Kakashi walked towards the gate, signaling the guard that was on duty to do his job. The guard looked at the group, making sure that they were Konoha ninjas and not a missing nin, but he stopped when he didn't recognize the two new people on the team. "Wait a minute, Kakashi-san. I don't recognize the other two. I can't let them pass without having them go through inspection." The guard looked cautiously at the two new people. Even though Konoha was in a time of peace, one can never let down their defense. Kakashi walked up to the booth and whispered something to the guard. The guard's face turned pale before nodding his head. Kakashi stepped back and grinned under his mask. "So you see, they're special guests of mine. It won't be a problem for them to enter, right?" The guard shook his head rather quickly. "It's okay, you guys can enter." Kakashi gave his thanks and walked back to the group. Sakura glared at him. "What did you say to the man, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi rubbed the back of his head. "I just asked him nicely to let us through. He wasn't going to let his team find out what he did. They were too young to know how to negotiate properly. You made several threats to that man, which included something about his house, his job, and his b-dash." Kakashi quickly turned around and covered Naruto's mouth. Naruto, you shouldn't be telling lies." When he turned back around, he found everyone looking at him suspiciously. "Anyway, we can enter now." He quickly led the way, hoping that the subject would drop. He forgot that Naruto had enhanced hearing, so he probably overheard his little threat. As they walked further into the village, Zabuza let out a small whistle. "Hey Gaki, you got a good thing going on here." He slapped Naruto on the back, causing the boy to slightly trip. Zabuza looked around and admired the scenery. It was nothing compared to his old village. Naruto growled at the man. His hand itched towards his weapon pouch. Haku noticed Naruto's advancement towards the pouch and quickly stepped between the two. "Zabuza-san, I don't think you should do that to Naruto." He was well aware of the growing tensions between the two. "You should listen to Haku, old man, before you get another beating." Naruto's subtlety hinted before retracting his hand from the pouch. "What was that, Gaki?" Zabuza reappeared in front of Naruto and lifted him up by his shirt. "I dare you to repeat that." He looked Naruto straight in the eye, his pride already damaged from the earlier fight. Everyone could feel the tension growing between the both of them. Kakashi stepped in, putting his hand on Zabuza's wrist and forcing him to lower the boy. "You're still my responsibility. Kill each other after we see the Hokage." He looked at Zabuza, his eyes making his actions clear. "Tisage? Lucky Gaki." Zabuza put Naruto down and stretched, making it seem as if nothing happened. "You're not worth my time anyway." Naruto dusted himself, making sure that his shirt wasn't torn in any way. "Keep telling yourself that. The results will always be the same." Zabuza turned back around. "Why you dash?" Kakashi sighed. All he wanted was to read his book, not babysit two children. "Enough." He made his voice loud and clear. "Now we are going to see the Hokage. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't care." Sakura, Haku, and Sasuke started to back away from the man they know only as their sensei. They could feel the killer intent leaking out. They actually felt pity for the other two. Naruto and Zabuza felt the huge release of the killing intent. They both slowly stopped bickering and nodded their head, not wanting to piss the man off anymore. Great, now let's move out. Kakashi started walking ahead while Naruto and Zabuza followed pursuit. Haku sighed and followed as well. What are we supposed to do, Sasuke-kun? Sakura stood there, wondering if they should follow as well. Sasuke pondered about their choices for a while. I think it's best that we steer clear of them for a while. Besides, they don't need all of us to do a report, so I think it's best that we just go home. Sasuke started to walk off, leaving Sakura to think for herself. Hey Sasuke-kun. Sakura blushed to herself, clearly that she was thinking some romantic thoughts which included herself and her precious Sasuke-kun. She fiddled with her fingers, trying to find the right words. I was, wondering if you would like to have dinner with me? She looked at the floor, waiting for her answer. When she heard no reply, she looked up. Sasuke-kun? She looked around for the boy of her dreams, but he was nowhere to be seen. Oh, are you playing hide and seek with me? That's so cute. Sakura started to walk around, searching for her prize. Yes, that girl needs to spend some time straightening out her priorities. Hokage Tower. Kakashi ended up dragging the both of them straight to the tower. Never in his life has he been so embarrassed. His fellow ninjas were pointing and laughing at him the entire way. Naruto and Zabuza were oblivious to the embarrassment. They were too busy bickering among themselves while they were being dragged along. Haku had enough sense to walk several feet behind them, and his other two students happened to disappear. He sighed. It was just not his day. The secretary just happened to have a camera that day as well. It seemed like fate had played a hand in his humiliation. Was this payback for all the times he was late? He cried to himself. So here he was, standing in front of the door with two people who continued to bicker while the secretary was taking pictures of this event, probably to be used as blackmail later. So this must be what rock bottom feels like. Kakashi thought to himself. He sighed he better get this over with. He pushed open the doors and walked in, dragging the other two with him. Sarutobi looked up from his paperwork. He saw a frustrated Kakashi standing there, separating Naruto and some man from what looks like an argument about to turn into a brawl, and a young boy just standing next to the older man. He cleared his throat. Had a fun mission, Kakashi? Decided to pick up two hitchhikers as well. He chuckled to himself while Kakashi shook his head. Fun? No. Completed mission? Yes. Pick up two strangers? Yes. He motioned his hand, signaling for Zabuza and Haku to step forward. May I present to you Zabuza Momochi and Haku, both missing neens from the mist. Sarutobi slowly looked over the two people, slowly recognizing them from the bingo books. Zabuza Momochi, also known as the Demon of the Mist, ranked as a level A missing neen, while Haku was ranked as a level S. May I ask why they're here? Kakashi started laughing. That's a funny story, Hokage-sama, but I believe Naruto here would like to take over. Kakashi pushed Naruto in front of him and stepped back. Naruto glared at Kakashi, who acted like there was nothing wrong. Well, Naruto, I'm waiting. Sarutobi dropped his pen, glad that he received a break from the paperwork. Maybe listening to this story might put him in a good mood. Naruto stood in front of his Hokage, who was patiently waiting for the story. Oiji-san, I just want to tell you that you're doing a great job running the village, and I want you to instate these two as Konoha ninjas. Naruto sped through the last part, not wanting to go through that. He stood in front of the desk, waiting for the answer. It all came down to him now, whether the old man let them be ninjas or not. Oh no, they were going to be ninjas one way or another. If they didn't, then let's just say that the old man is going to get a really big surprise later. Naruto smirked. He liked that idea. It might not be a bad idea if he had to do this the other way. Sarutobi looked at the boy, noticing the smirk on his face. He thought about it for a bit. Bringing in two powerful ninjas to serve Konoha, and Naruto was getting better at socializing with others. He liked this idea. Okay, Naruto, I'll instate them as Konoha ninjas. He started rummaging through his drawers for the proper paperwork. Oh, by the way, there's a bonus for the one who brought these two to our side. So who was it? Naruto's attention snapped back to the old man. It was MMFP. Kakashi appeared in front of Naruto, covering his mouth. It was I, Hokage-sama. Sorry, Naruto, but with that deal you swindled me into, I need this money to pay for it and to buy the new release of Ica Ica Paradise, Tropical Island Pleasure. Naruto started struggling against Kakashi's grip, trying to release himself but to no avail. Sarutobi looked at the Jonin suspiciously. Why are you covering Naruto's mouth, Kakashi? Kakashi let out a small laugh. You know kids these days, they say the darnest thing. Being late is one thing, but being a liar as well? Everyone turned around to see Naruto standing by the wall. They looked back and see the Naruto struggling in Kakashi's arm disappear. Everyone was thinking to themselves, when did the boy make a bushin? Sarutobi sighed. Enough. Both of you can get the bonus. Now please leave. I have to file the necessary paperwork. Naruto, show them around the village, please. Naruto lowered his shoulders in defeat. He slowly walked out the door, followed by Haku and Zabuza. Kakashi, can I speak with you for a minute? Kakashi stayed behind, wondering what the Hokage would want from him. So how did Naruto really persuaded them to come over? Kakashi let out a little laugh, knowing he was caught red-handed. He let out a small cough before answering the question. Well, when we first encountered Zabuza, he was a missing nin hired by Gatu to take care of our client, but it turns out that Naruto knew Zabuza from back then. Words got flying and those two fought it out. Long story short, Naruto beat Zabuza back into his old self, and this is where we are now. I see. Sarutobi sat back. This was a lot to think about. He knew deep down inside that Naruto was able to take care of himself, but it was surprising to find out that Naruto himself doesn't realize that he has a special gift. The ability to turn enemies into his friends. That was a rare quality that all past Hokage had in common. Naruto, my boy, you keep getting more interesting. Kakashi saw his Hokage's eyes twinkle for a split second before it disappeared. Is there anything else, Hokage-sama? The Hokage nodded his head. Do you think your team is ready for the upcoming Chunin exams? Kakashi thought for a moment before answering. Without a doubt, sir. They are ready and should be able to pass the exam. The Hokage studied the Chunin's features carefully. It was a big responsibility to let a new team of Genins go through with this. They could have died doing this, and it wouldn't look good for the village if they did. Then give them these papers and you know what to do. Kakashi nodded his head. I have faith in them, Hokage-sama, and high expectations for them as well. Sarutobi smiled. So do I. Now go find them. Kakashi bowed and disappeared in a plume of white smokes and green leaves. Outside the tower. So what do we do now, Naruto? Haku asked, leaning against the wall. The trio stood outside the tower, wondering where to go next. Naruto thought about his schedule for today. Well, first I have some businesses to attend to, like finding out where my other teammates are, and then, my afternoon is free, I guess. Ha! Zabuza snorted. Those weaklings are your teammates? Zabuza recalled the events. The pink-hair girl did nothing while the other boy got his behind handed to him by Haku. He couldn't control his laughter and burst out laughing. Naruto sighed. Yes, they may be weak. And useless. Haku spoke up. Naruto lowered his head. Yes, and useless. And pathetic. Haku added in. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Yes, and pathetic, but nevertheless, they are my teammates. We don't abandon each other. It was one of the first lessons that he learned while being on this team. Never leave a teammate behind. Zabuza continued laughing at Naruto's expense. Haku couldn't help but crack a smile. I don't have time for this. Naruto muttered under his breath. He formed his favorite hand seals and smirked. Kagebushin no jutsu. Zabuza stopped laughing and wondered what was going on. All he knew was that he was having the best time of his life laughing, and then he saw a clone pop into existence. Listen, my clone here is just the same thing as me, and he'll show you around. I'll meet up with you guys later. Naruto pointed to his clone and gave it instructions. The Naruto clone nodded and walked away with Zabuza and Haku. While Naruto watched his present company walk away, he wondered where his team was. Well, if I was Sasuke, where would I be? He thought about it. I know I would be at the training grounds training, and if I know Sakura, she would have her nose trained on his scent like a bloodhound, so wherever he goes, she goes. Naruto nodded at his logic before he shushin away, towards their usual training grounds. Elsewhere in Konoha, Sasuke lowered his head. He was wondering how Sakura managed to track him down. He was sure he covered up his tracks. He figured losing her in the marketplace would be easy, but that girl has like a tracking jutsu or something. His thoughts were soon interrupted by a familiar voice. Never thought you would be here, Sasuke. I thought you would be in the training field or something. The Uchiha turned his head and spotted his last remaining teammate. What do you want, Dobe? Naruto walked up to him slowly. And to think I spent my time to look for you. Naruto looked around. Something was missing. Where's your fangirl? Sasuke shuddered. I finally managed to lose her. Sasuke-kun. The boys turned around, surprised to see Sakura running towards them. You were saying? Naruto had a surprised look on his face. Damn. She would make an excellent bloodhound. By the time she caught up to the rest of her group, she wasn't even winded. Naruto took note of that for future references. Sasuke-kun. How did you know I love playing hide and seek? Sakura squealed even more, glad that she won her prize. Sasuke's eyebrow twitched. She has got to be kidding me. Sakura then noticed Naruto. Oh, hi Naruto. Naruto noticed the change in her tone. Hello to you too, bloodhound. He replied back coldly. Sakura took no notice in his reply. Naruto sighed and kicked the wall. Sasuke and Sakura looked at Naruto in surprise. Why did you do that? Naruto didn't answer them. He continued to kick the wall, until a camouflage sheet fell over revealing a young Konohamaru. Ah, I see that you're worthy to be my rival Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto stared at the young boy. He was wondering what he was doing here. What are you doing here, shrimp? Konohamaru took a step back and looked at his new rival. You and I are going to fight for the title of Hokage. Konohamaru raised his fist at Naruto. Sakura laughed and crouched down. That one over there is certainly not going to be Hokage, little boy, but you might make it. Naruto growled at her for her comment. He was going to prove to everyone that he was going to make it to Hokage. Konohamaru stared at Sakura. Gramps said that someone named Naruto Uzumaki will one day take the title away from him, and if I want it sooner, I would have to be like that person. Sasuke felt his eyes shifting towards Naruto. He couldn't help but feel something about Naruto. Is this jealousy he was feeling? He quickly shook off that thought. He couldn't help but wonder why everyone was paying so much attention to a dead last. Naruto narrowed his eyes, trying to recognize that face from somewhere. Konohamaru Sarutobi? The little boy nodded his head. Yes, and you'll all one day respect me as the next Hokage. He kicked the dirt and ran around in the next corner, leaving the genins to themselves. Naruto straightened up and smirked. So that brat thinks he can beat me to Hokage? He has another thing coming. He was about to walk away until he heard a familiar voice who started yelling out something. As he got closer, he heard several other voices. Hey brat, that hurts. Naruto stepped away from the corner and saw Konohamaru trembling. The older boy dressed in black with makeup on his face was scaring Konohamaru. Sakura and Sasuke came over to see what was going on. Hey, that's no way to treat a little boy. She stood behind Sasuke, pushing him to do something. Sasuke stood there, wondering how he got himself in this mess. Kankuro, stop making a scene and let's just go. The older boy turned his attention to the girl behind him. But he started it. He picked Konohamaru up by his shirt and smirked. He has to pay for his actions. Kankuro suddenly froze, unable to do anything. He couldn't feel any part of his body, nor was any part of his body responding to his actions. You will let the boy go now. Kankuro found himself frozen on the spot, unable to do anything but feel helpless. He stared at the approaching boy, messy blonde hair with strange whisker markings on his face. He gulped. This kid was releasing an overpowering killing intent. Naruto walked up to the boy who the girl earlier called him Kankuro. He looked him in the eye. I hate to repeat myself. He stood there, waiting for Kankuro to make his move. Konohamaru stopped struggling as he watched the interaction between the person named Kankuro and Naruto. He felt relieved that Naruto was here, that everything will be better. If his grandfather could trust him, maybe he should too. Kankuro found himself in the depths of darkness. Nothing there but him and this strange boy. He found the stench of blood coming from the boy, but there was something familiar about the boy, something that told him that he was dangerous. He couldn't help but feel trapped as he found the boy staring at him. The illusion fell apart when Kankuro felt another being entering his mind. Kankuro, you're disgracing our village. I will kill you myself if you keep this up. A dark, mysterious voice calmly said. Kankuro snapped out of his own world, only to find that his hand was still in the same position but without the boy. He saw the smirk on Naruto's face. Gaara? Stop your whining and move. A mysterious figure appeared besides Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened. His senses went on high alert. He didn't even sense the boy, and somehow, the boy managed to sneak up next to him. He turned his head to get a good look at him, but he found that the boy's eyes were very familiar. Those eyes, they feel very similar. Naruto was surprised to see a red-headed boy with an odd kanji tattooed on his head and with a big gourd on his back. The gourd itself must have weighed over 100 pounds. "What's your name?" the boy asked coldly. Naruto didn't answer, he kept staring at the boy. "If you want to know my name, you first have to give me your name." Kankuro stepped back until he was next to the girl. "Temari, is this guy brave or stupid?" The girl watched the interaction between the two boys with interest. Gaara's interested in this guy though. Temari looked at the blonde. She had to admit, he wasn't bad looking and he has a mysterious aura around him. Gaara looked at Naruto before answering. "Sabaku no Gaara." Naruto smirked. "Naruto Uzumaki." Gaara took note of his name before turning around. "Temari, Kankuro, we're leaving." The duo immediately ran after the boy, leaving everyone to wonder why they were there. "Wait, why are you here?" Sakura asked, still hiding behind Sasuke. Gaara heed no attention to her question and continued to walk. Temari stopped and looked at her. "Are you stupid or something?" Sakura felt her cheeks go red. This girl was trying to make her look bad in front of her Sasuke-kun. "No, we're just genin and we're curious." Temari sighed. "Didn't you know that your village was selected this year to hold the upcoming Chunin exams?" Sakura shook her head. This was new to her. Temari waved her hand and walked away, hoping to catch up with her team. Sasuke smirked. The thought of fighting and beating stronger opponents was making his blood rush. "The Chunin exams, huh? I can't wait." Naruto stayed quiet, wondering about the boy. There was something oddly familiar about him. He decided to put that thought on hold while turning his attention back to the other issue at hand. "Let's go find Kakashi-sensei and ask him about this Chunin exam." Sakura and Sasuke both nodded their head, walking towards some places that they thought their sensei might be. Before Naruto followed them, he turned around to check up on Konohamaru. "Are you all right, Konohamaru?" The little boy nodded his head. Naruto smiled. "That's great. I have to go now, but remember, there are no shortcuts to becoming Hokage. If you want that title, you'll have to beat me to it." Naruto roughed up the boy's hair before leaving. Konohamaru stared at him before shouting, "Just wait and see Naruto Nizan. I'll do it. Just watch me." Konohamaru turned around and ran someplace where he was going to spend his time training. 30 minutes later. "I give up. Kakashi-sensei is impossible to find." Sakura sighed. They have looked everywhere for the man, the dango shop, the bookstore, even the Hokage tower, but he was not around. Naruto tried sensing his chakra signature but couldn't locate it. Sakura leaned on the handrails, watching the water flow downstream. The group decided to call it quits and was taking a break at the bridge. "Yo!" The group heard a familiar voice, the voice that they were all too eager to see. They turned their heads and saw the one person they spent the last 30 minutes looking for. "Kakashi-sensei!" Sakura cried out. "Are we glad to see you?" Kakashi just waved his hand. He spent the last hour at the bookstore, reading and tracking the latest volume of his favorite book. "What's this about the Chunin exams?" Sakura asked, getting straight to the point. Kakashi laughed. "Straight to the point as always." Sasuke tapped his foot, getting impatient. Kakashi found the boy's action amusing. He would have to test the boy's patience later in the future. The Chunin exams happens twice a year. It is a chance for genins who pass the exam to achieve the ranks of Chunin. "We want to enter this year." Kakashi raised his eyebrow at Sasuke. He was his usual brooding self, but his eyes betrayed him. They showed excitement, the thrill of combat. "Are you guys ready for it though?" Kakashi rubbed his chin, acting as if he didn't know if they were ready or not. He didn't want to tell them they were ready. Too much praise can lead to overconfidence, which overall leads to a downfall of a ninja. "Please spare us with your make-believe speech. Our actions from our past mission shows that we're capable of entering." Kakashi turned his attention to the new voice. Kakashi saw Naruto leaning across the rail, calmly staring at the clear river. Kakashi blinked. For a second there, Naruto looked like a splitting image of the fourth. "Ma Naruto, you have to lighten up. I have here 3 paper slips for you guys. Each one is a ticket to enter the exams. Follow the instructions and good luck." With his last words, Kakashi disappeared in his trademark smoke, leaving the genins to decide for themselves. Naruto took one look at his ticket and stuffed it in his pocket. Sakura carefully read through hers, taking her time while Sasuke just glanced at, looking for the important details. It says on the ticket that we have to report to room 304 at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Glad that you can read the instructions, Naruto calmly said. He started walking away from the group. Where are you going, Naruto? Sakura shouted at Naruto, who only continued to walk. Naruto stopped and smirked. I got other things to do besides babysitting you guys. With that, Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving his teammates behind. Sakura growled. What? Come back here and say that again. She shook her fist in the air. She turned around and noticed that Sasuke was also leaving. Wait, Sasuke-kun. Where are you going? Sasuke didn't stop. He followed in Naruto's footsteps. I got things to do. I'll see you tomorrow. Sakura sighed. Maybe she should follow her teammates' advice and prepare for tomorrow. That night, Naruto's Kagebushin finally ran out of chakra and disappeared, leaving Naruto to wait for the information to come rushing back to him. He felt his mind tightening, slowly processing the information. Naruto sighed and opened the door to his apartment. Haku and Zabuza found themselves in an apartment just a block away and has seen the entire village, thanks to Naruto's clone. Naruto found himself tired from all the events that happened that day and the training that he did. He was going to call it quits and feel refreshed for tomorrow's exam. He fell asleep as soon as his head touched the pillow, feeling free once more. Sasuke stared at the broken and battered wooden post. 355 times the wooden post had taken his punches. He didn't bother to count the other 10 wooden posts that he had burned while practicing his jutsus. Soon, Itachi, I will reach your level and kill you. Fatigue hit Sasuke at once, making his arms feel like lead and his legs like rubber. Ugh, I might have overdone it tonight. Sasuke slowly dragged his battered and sore body into bed, allowing his fatigue to take over and his subconscious to enter the dream world, where he could get a decent night's rest. Sakura sat at her desk, looking at a recent photograph that they took from their last mission. She looked at Sasuke, who stood there, brooding. Sasuke-kun looks so handsome in that picture. It had took some begging to Sasuke to get him into this picture, but it was all worth it. Flashback. Sasuke-kun, will you take a picture with me? Sakura looked at Sasuke, with dreamy eyes. No. Sasuke didn't even look at her. He continued to sit there, meditating. Sakura pouted. She wasn't going to give up. Love will conquer all. Are you sure? It'll be a great memory. She tried again, hoping that he would eventually say yes. No. Sasuke answered again, slightly raising his voice. Naruto leaned against a tree, quite amused at this scene. Kakashi was right next to Naruto, enjoying his book. Why don't you go help Sakura, Naruto? Naruto shook his head. I want nothing to do with people that doesn't want anything to do with me. Kakashi flipped the page. Then how about a bet? If you can make Sasuke take a picture with her, I'll teach you a new jutsu. Naruto thought about this and nodded his head. Deal. Naruto walked over to Sakura and whispered something into her ear. She quickly nodded. Naruto cleared his voice. Sasuke, are you sure you don't want to take a picture? Sasuke didn't even bother to open his eyes to know who it was. No, Dobe, I'm not taking any pictures. Get lost. I'm trying to mediate here. Naruto smirked. Then you don't mind that you don't want to take a picture with us? No. Are you deaf or something? I already said no. Sasuke still didn't bother to open his eyes, which cost him a big mistake. Naruto waved and called Kakashi over. Sasuke here doesn't mind, so we're taking this picture. Sasuke opened his eyes, slowly recalling Naruto's question. He growled. You played me, Dobe. Naruto shrugged. Simple trick for a simple mind. Sakura squealed in happiness and jumped in between Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke sighed and tried to shake his arm off from Sakura, but found her grip tightening. Kakashi got between his students and put his book away. Naruto dragged a photographer over and stood next to Sakura. Sakura put on her cutest smile. This was one picture that she was going to treasure forever. Flashback end. Sakura stared at the picture for a few more seconds before going to bed. It was going to be a big day, she could feel it. I hope I won't drag anyone down. She recalled back to the several times where she needed to be rescued by her teammates and her sensei. No! She clutched her fist. She was going to be stronger. She was going to be stronger for her Sasuke-kun. Maybe then he would see her in a different light. Thinking too much is too bad for her right now. She looked at her bed, It was sending a very interesting invitation towards her, which she willingly accepted. Next morning, Sakura and Sasuke stood at the front door, waiting for their already late teammate. Sasuke leaned against the door frame, watching people as they walked in. Some of them, he caught the scent of battle on them, and that made his blood rush, his adrenaline rushing through his veins. He couldn't help but feel a little excited. Sakura caught Sasuke glancing at her and blushed. He must be noticing me. The only thing Sasuke noticed was the people who walked by him, and by coincidence, Sakura happened to be on the other side. He saw Sakura staring at him like he was a piece of meat. To say that Sasuke was freaked out was an understatement. He could have swore to himself that there was a piece of drool coming out from the side of Sakura's mouth. He blinked and saw nothing. Odd girl. Are you going to be looking at her all day, Sasuke? A voice called out from behind him. Sasuke turned around and was met face to face with his other teammate. "Chen, it's about time you got here." Naruto shrugged and stepped back. "I got lost on the road of life." Sakura phased out of her daydream at that moment and saw Naruto. "You're late, Naruto." She pointed her finger at him. He glared at her. "Are you asking for a broken finger, Pinky?" He gave her a sinister smile. Sakura backed away, pretty sure that Naruto would have carried out that threat. "Well, I'm here now, so let's go." Sasuke started walking ahead and led the way. Naruto and Sakura walked by his side, pretty sure that they were causing a scene by walking in this way. Naruto took a look at the other entrees. "There's some interesting characters here," he whispered in a low voice to Sasuke. Sasuke nodded. "There are only a few characters here that I would love to fight," he quickly answered back, not wanting to alert Sakura. As Team 7 walked up a flight of stairs, they heard a loud slap. They quickly ran to see what the commotion was. You plan on taking the Chunin exam like that?" Two teenagers stood outside the door, stopping anyone from entering it. The boy with two swords on his back stood in front of a boy in a green jumpsuit. His partner stepped forward. "You guys should quit now." He looked a bit younger than his partner but was also releasing the same type of aura. "You guys are just little kids. Come back when you're ready," the first one replied. A girl was on the floor next to the kid in the green jumpsuit. She checked over his wound and stood up. "Please let us through. We just want to get into room 301. The teenagers just smirked and then, without warning, slapped her on her right cheek. Sakura gasped. The girl in a Chinese outfit just got slapped. The crowd started whispering among each other. The first boy overheard their conversation. "Huh? Listen, we're being kind. The Chunin exam isn't easy. We're doing you a favor here," he shouted into the crowd. Naruto snorted. Sasuke smirked. "You will let me through." He stepped through the crowd. "And dropped this genjutsu. It's a very pathetic attempt. I'm trying to get to the third floor." The other teams were giving him a weird look, wondering if he had lost his marbles or something. "Oh, so you noticed, huh?" The teens were impressed. They had the genjutsu up for about 10 minutes now, and no one bothered to see if it was real or not, and here was a kid challenging them. The boy with weapons on his back smiled. "Hey, not bad, but all you did was see through it." He flipped around and threw a kick at Sasuke. Sasuke narrowed his eyes and saw the kick coming. He answered back with his own kick. Sasuke suddenly felt his own kick being stopped at the hands of the kid in a green jumpsuit. Sakura blinked. She couldn't believe her own eyes. He moved really fast, faster than her eye could follow. Naruto stood there, analyzing the kid. "He's fast." The kid released both of their legs from his grip and calmed down. Sasuke stared at the new kid. The wound on his face seemed to have disappeared. "I thought you were the one who told us not to show off." Another voice echoed behind them. The kid in the green jumpsuit bowed his head. Gomen, but you see." Sasuke stared at the kid while he was apologizing to his teammate. So they were faking it, huh? He could feel the power emitting from the pale white kid. Naruto glanced at the new group. They don't look like much. The kid in the green jumpsuit walked up to Sakura and smiled. "Hello, my name is Rock Lee. You must be Sakura." He flashed her a big smile. "Would you like to go out with me? I'll protect you with my life." Sakura dropped her jaw. She looked at him. That out-of-style haircut and the outrageous jumpsuit would make anyone want to run for the hills. "No way." Lee dropped his head in defeat. The other kid in white sighed but turned his attention to Sasuke. "What's your name?" Sasuke snorted. If you want to know my name, it would be polite to tell others your name first. The kid gritted his teeth. The girl giggled. You know, you should leave him alone. He has some major issues to deal with. The boy instantly turned around. The girl gasped and jumped back. Naruto smiled. Hey, don't take it the wrong way, Sasuke, but he should know what he's dealing with. TCH, whatever. Sasuke began to walk away and Naruto smirked. Hyuga Neji, Rookie of the Year from last year. It's nice to meet you. Naruto nodded his head to show recognition for the famous Hyuga. Neji glared at the boy. He didn't even feel him sneaking up on him. Who are you? Naruto began to walk away, hoping to catch up with Sasuke. Just nobody. Neji smirked. There was going to be some interesting competition this year. The girl stared at Naruto's retreating figure. He's cute though. Sasuke walked up to Sakura, who was trying to get away from Lee. Sorry Rock Lee, but Sakura here is our genjutsu specialist. We need her right now. Sasuke looked at the other boy before dragging Sakura away. She blinked out of her state, finally understanding the words that Sasuke just said to her. Thank you, Sasuke-kun. She whispered to nobody in particular. Geez, Sasuke, you didn't have to ditch me back there. Naruto called out from behind. Naruto saw the rejected Rock Lee with his head against the wall. He shrugged and leaned over. It's okay. Pinky wouldn't be that great of a girlfriend anyway. He said that last comment a bit too loud. What? His comment earned himself an earful from both Rock Lee and Sakura herself. Meanwhile, behind a set of almost closed doors, the two teenagers who guarded the door before laughed. So those are Kakashi's and Guy's prize team eh? They held up a hand seal and dispersed into their original forms. This exam will be very interesting. The teenagers were replaced with a pair of Chunins, who just smirked. Wait, Sasuke-san. Sasuke stopped and turned around. What do you want now, Lee? He looked at him in annoyance. The green suit was just too much for him to handle. I want to fight the descendant from the legendary Uchiha clan, who was hailed for all the geniuses they produced. Lee held out his palm, a subtle message that said, bring it on. Sasuke smirked. This could be a good warm-up. I accept. Lee led the way into a wide area within the building. Sasuke walked over to one end while Lee walked over to the other. Sakura hurried over to Sasuke. Are you sure you want to do this, Sasuke-kun? He nodded his head. Naruto yawned. I would forfeit if I were you, Sasuke. Sasuke glared at him. But I'm not you, dope. I never turned down a fight against an opponent. Naruto shrugged and leaned against a rail, having the best seat in the house. Naruto looked at Rock Lee, who stood there with his left hand behind his back, inviting Sasuke to attack. He doesn't have a lot of chakra in his body, and those bandages on both of his arms show that he has down a lot of taijutsu training. Naruto laughed to himself. Sasuke better prepare himself because this is something that is not to taken lightly. Sasuke, on the other hand, was trying to analyze Rock Lee. He couldn't help but wonder what moves he was going to show him. If you won't come to me, Sasuke-san, I'll come to you. Lee started running towards him. Sasuke grinned. Amateur mistake. He held up his arms to guard himself from any attack. Sasuke watched as Lee ran towards him, closer and closer until Lee just disappeared. His eyes widened as Lee disappeared in front of him. Ninjutsu? Genjutsu? Sasuke was taken by surprise when he saw Lee in front of him and threw a punch to his face. Sasuke felt the pain from his punch. It was hard and could still feel the sting. He stepped back and tried to rethink his plan. I don't know how you did that, but let's see you do that again. Sasuke closed his eyes and concentrated some chakra to them. When he opened his eyes, they weren't the usual onyx eyes. They were red with 2 tomes in each eye. So that's the mighty Sharingan. Lee admired them from afar. Sakura looked into Sasuke's eyes and squealed. That's right, he has the Sharingan. Whatever trick Lee-san is pulling will be discovered by Sasuke. She felt her pride for Sasuke going up with each passing moment. Sasuke grinned at Lee. Come, let's see what kind of trick you can do now. Naruto watched the match with growing interest. Oh, he finally brought out the eyes. This might be an interesting match. Here I come, Sasuke-san. Lee ran forward, disappearing once again. Sasuke kept his eyes open for Lee's whereabouts. Don't panic. These eyes will tell me where he is. He kept repeating the same phrase over and over in his head, trying to calm himself down. Sasuke saw Lee in front of him again, but this time he was prepared for it. Now I'll see what trick you used. Sasuke saw Lee performing some hand movements. Ninjutsu. Sasuke prepared to stop the attack, but found Lee still running towards him, the distance getting smaller and smaller. When Lee was in front of Sasuke's face, Sasuke quickly jumped back and threw a kick to Lee's face, but nothing connected. Sasuke's eyes widened when he saw no one there. The next thing Sasuke knew was that he was flying up in the air. Naruto's interest was perked. That Lee kid disappeared from under Sasuke and kicked him up into the air. He has pure speed. Sakura, on the other hand, was watching in horror as her Sasuke-kun was getting beaten by a fashion disaster. Ugh! Sasuke tried to regain his focus, but it was kind of hard when you're flying up in the air. Sasuke felt something poking him in the back. This is the hard work that I put in to defeat the type you call geniuses. Lee removed his finger from the back and prepared his trump card. Sasuke gritted his teeth. He saw Lee going under his kick and placing his own kick to his chin to send him airborne. It wasn't ninjutsu or genjutsu. It was taijutsu. He cursed his luck for going against an opponent like this. Let me show you the move that will crush geniuses. Sasuke began to panic as the bandages around the boy's arms began to slowly unwrap. Naruto witnessed the entire event and recognized the technique that Lee was about to do. It was the Omote Wrench. Naruto shuddered as he recalled that technique. Flashback. Naruto stood there, grinning as he watched the field populated with his clones. What are you going to do now, Araki Nichin? Araki smirked. Gaki. I'm going to show you something that I once saw. Naruto frowned. This wasn't good. Whenever Araki Nichin said that, he ended up being in bed for a week. His eyes widened as all his clones disappeared in mere seconds, leaving him to be alone in the field. What are you staring at, Baka? Naruto yelled in surprise as he felt a kick that sent him airborne. He tried to move his jaw but found it in pain. He felt someone under him. I hope you're prepared for this, Naruto. Naruto felt his heart rate rising, the feeling of insecurity building up inside of his mind. What are you doing, Araki Nichin? He heard no response except that he felt a pair of arms wrapped around him. This move is called the Omote Wrench. He felt himself being turned upside down and falling at a fast rate to the ground. Naruto couldn't help but scream. Oh! He closed his eyes and waited for the impact. When he felt nothing, he opened his eyes slowly and saw something very disturbing. Ha ha ha, Naruto. You should have seen your face. Naruto pouted. Araki Nichin, that wasn't funny. Naruto stood up, a bit shaken from that last move. I learned that from a weird person whose name I can't remember, but I would recognize him anywhere. If you didn't think that was funny, you'll be laughing when you met the guy who I learned it from. Naruto slowly nodded his head, glad that he didn't get pummeled into the ground. He pictured what would have happened if his head had connected with the ground. Pictures of a tombstone kept popping up in his head. Flashback end. Naruto shook his head, turning his focus back into the match. That was a vulnerable spot in the air, leaving yourself wide open to be attacked. Naruto jumped in, not wanting Sasuke to get slammed into the ground. As Lee was about to wrap his bandages around Sasuke, he felt something coming towards him. Naruto threw a few kunais at Lee, catching his bandages and pinning them to the wall. I can't let you do that move, Lee-san. Sasuke landed on the ground with a thump. He let out a small growl, his pride already hurt by having Naruto showing up and saving him. I could have handled it, Dobe. Naruto let out a small chuckle. That and you would have been 6 feet under. Naruto turned his attention to Lee. You know that move is a forbidden move, Lee-san. Lee looked down in shame. He slowly rewrapped his bandages in silence. Naruto sighed. I won't tell him, Lee-san. Lee looked up with hope in his eyes. But Lee started dropping his head. He knew where this was going. You will tell him yourself. Hi, Naruto-san. Lee bowed his head and disappeared, off to find his team. Naruto turned around and offered a hand to Sasuke. Got your ass kicked there, Sasuke? Sasuke smirked and accepted the hand. It was a warm-up for the exams. If there was this many strong opponents in the Chunin exams, then this was the place for him. He can pick up many new techniques here. Sasuke started thinking to himself. Yes, after he was done here, he would be one step closer. Enough brooding. We're going to be late if we don't hurry. Naruto's voice snapped Sasuke back into reality. Tsh, you don't tell me what to do. Sasuke started walking, with Sakura following behind and Naruto just grinning. "Oh, my poor Lee," a loud voice cried out. "The power of youths failed him. I will make him do 100 laps around Konoha to make him feel better." A second voice sighed. "What did you say, Guy?" Guy swayed in his step. "Oh, that's so hip of you, Kakashi. That's why you're my fierce rival." Kakashi shook his head. He can't believe himself that he followed Guy here to see the showdown between Lee and his team. He was glad Naruto stopped the last move, or he would have intervened himself. "If Lee can't do 100 laps, then I will do 300 push-ups with rocks on my back." Kakashi ignored Guy. Whenever he started with this power of youth stuff, he had more energy than any Raitun jutsus. Guy continued to yap on, and Kakashi decided that it was the best time to walk away. Kakashi started walking away, leaving Guy to rant on by himself. This was going to be a very interesting exam.